Tatum was awful in that game. Could not shoot, couldn't hit anything. Heat defended him well, but that's a big win by Miami on the road with now a chance in Game 4. If they go up 3-1, Celtics are in the world of hurt there. So that's a pretty big game coming up for the Celtics.
If they go up 3-1, like how long are we going to have to wait for the finals? Those teams are going to be sitting there for right? I mean, I think they have like a set little window that they're going to start, that they want to start it, right?
Yeah.
Which obviously takes into account the longest possible series. Or there may be some serious downtime in the NBA coming up.
Could be. How about those Warriors? I don't think the Mavs have it in them. I think they're going to get swept. I just want to point out I said that Friday. They're going to get swept. There's only one game at that time.
Yeah, it might be. That's a good call by you. I thought the Mavs would get them in this one, or at least it'd be better. It'd be a better game. They're just. Luka's great. Luka's kind of like an '80s NBA star, man. He reminds me of Kelly Tripucka. Luka is Tripucka. Yeah, he's better than Kelly Tripucka. But Tripucka, he had 50-point nights and he gave up 53. And Luka is, especially late in these games, like they're just like, please, whoever's got Luka on him, you go after him. And then they're just jacking up these threes. They got some shooters that are in their heads right now, and they just, you bring off Jordan Poole, and all of a sudden he can just come out there and hit a 28-footer for you.
Yeah. Or
Kevon Looney and what he's doing. The big three, Steph, Clay, Draymond. But those role players are really stepping up. Now, Otto Porter is hurt, and that's troublesome. With Peyton and Porter now, those are both important guys, so that could mean something in the next series, which, by the way, according to this, is starting on Thursday, June 2nd, period, I guess. So there you go. So we may be sitting here for, about a week.
Yeah.
About a week with no hoops.
Just both teams practicing.
But that's not bad for hockey, right?
It's not bad for hockey. Now, Heat Celtics is a long way from over. Like, I fully expect Boston to win in Game 4. Would be my guess. That's just the way. I think that one's going 6 or 7.
I could see it. Yeah, I could see that.
So
you don't want to be overconfident as a Heat fan.
I do not want to be overconfident.
I get it. It's fine.
We'll see what happens on that front. Stanley Cup playoffs. How about those Edmonton Oilers? They're showing it up on the screen right now. Like, it's, Edmonton deserves a lot of credit for what they're doing. Evander Kane, big night last night.
Hat trick in the second.
But it's Connor McDavid is driving the bus right now. He's unbelievable what he's doing out there. Like, I've always kind of figured, like, at some point, his play alone is just going to propel them on some run. And
maybe watching.
I don't know that it's for sure happening this year, but they're up 2-1 against Calgary. I still think Calgary's a better team than they are, but McDavid is just single-handedly dragging them with him. And
look at that.
It's unbelievable what he can do out there.
We're watching the highlights as we talk.
I've said this before. I don't know if I've said it on here before, but just talking to like Brent Peterson and some hockey people, I didn't grow up. I didn't watch Gretzky in his heyday. That was before my time. I've seen Crosby. I've seen Datsuk. I've seen all these really good guys. I didn't watch a whole lot of Mario Lemieux because he was before my time as well.
He's a beast.
Connor McDavid is the best player I've ever seen play hockey. It's unbelievable how good he is. And there were people talking about this last night, and I don't know. I mean, there's a couple different options you could go down. Is he the best athlete at his sport currently in the world? And I think he is. I think Connor McDavid is the best athlete relative to his sport in the entire planet.
That's a good question. That's a really interesting question. Like, nothing jumps up where I'm screaming like, no way. That's so dumb. So, no, he's it's actually absurd, too, to just think, and you bring up Gretzky, that Edmonton would have both of these guys. Yeah. You're talking about just all-time, like, take it in as you get to watch this guy play in his prime. I mean, the goal he had in I guess it would have been Game 2, right? The goal he had in Game 2.
Where he kicked it to himself.
On.
It's unbelievable.
Come on. No, it's absurd. And it's fun. I mean, frankly, like, I'm just more interested in Colorado Edmonton than I am in Colorado Calgary.
Yes.
No offense to Calgary, but it's kind of cool.
Future Nashville Predator Johnny Gaudreau. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Well, and so if they do make the conversation, because that's the thing too in this perpetual argument with Preds fans about the Preds and like, there's like tanking, trying to get this great player. Again, you're not going to get a McDavid, almost for sure. But it's like, well, yeah, but what have they ever done? Well, now, I think they may be about to at least go to the conference final, which would at least sort of tell you, yeah, it's good to have a McDavid. It's good to have a Draisaitl. They added Kane. That seems to be working out okay for them. I think they probably have more runs in them ahead, too.
I think there's a chance that could happen. Colorado up 2-1 against St. Louis. St. Louis, opportunity the other night to win that game and go up 2-1. Colorado played really well, and St. Louis, unfortunately, lost Jordan Binnington in that game. Looks like he's going to be out the rest of the series. Kind of a weird play where there's a collision in front and Kadri's involved, and every time Kadri's involved with a controversial play, people are going crazy. It looked like on the TNT interview after the game that Binnington threw a water bottle at him in the middle of the interview, which was amazing. But it looks like he's going to be out the rest of the series, so it's the Ville Husso show in St. Louis. So may not end well for the Blues.
Yeah, I think you hit it exactly. If it wasn't Kadri, I don't even know. Would we be talking about that play?
Probably not.
It looked like really bang to me. Now apparently he's getting death threats. So,
good.
Yeah. It's one of those. It is. It's one of the. I mean, frankly, it's like Draymond. Last night I saw a flagrant one committed by Dallas. It was like, really? If that's going to be a common foul, cool, but it's not called that way normally. No. But if that was Draymond, it's a flagrant 2. That's how it goes with some people, and some people earn that. He has earned that with a lot of plays that are questionable. Kadri has earned it too. So I'm not saying that there isn't like extra suspicion warranted when something like that happens. I just don't think that was actually a dirty play.
No, I don't think so either. But Blues fans are very upset about it. I can tell you this.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Well, they can carry those cries into the offseason.
They will, because that very well may end up happening very quickly for the Blues. Tampa Bay, they're up 3-0 on Florida. I had hope that the Panthers could make it a series and go on the road and win. But when you have wide open nets, got to put them in there. And Tampa Bay dominated that game. But Huberdeau, it's just kind of the story of the series. Could not have more of a wide open net on like a cross-eyes pass and just send it about 6 feet wide. And I was just like, oh boy, okay.
They're in their heads.
They're in their heads. And I said this last week, Andre Vasilevsky being dialed in is a scary place to be for the rest of the league. And right now, that dude is dialed in. And it was interesting. I think Greg Wyshynski put this up. And I guess Huberdeau was talking after the game and said, like, eventually one of those shots where he's going to let in one goal and it's going to spiral on him. And Wyshynski was like, have you seen him play the last couple of years? I'm going to doubt that. So
spiral.
The Panthers are toast. They're done.
Yeah, it's sad. That was the series I was most looking forward to.
Me too.
And it's just not a
total
series.
Dud.
However, I think Rangers-Canes has potential.
Yeah.
The Rangers were right there, both games of Carolina. Carolina is so far a team that's just incredible at home in the playoffs and not great away from home, right? But the Rangers right there with them. I think we may be looking at a Game 7 kind of series there.
A little bit of spiciness at the end of that game yesterday, and Gerard Gallant not very happy about it after the game. So
I love when he gets mad.
Oh, I love when he gets mad too. Now we've seen this, and honestly, Brenda Moore does this a little bit more than personally I like, the complaining about the officiating stuff. And he did that last year against the Predators too. And I think it's like a tactic of, all right, I'm going to make this public, and then we're going to start to get calls coming the other way. So Brenda Moore's done that a lot, not just against the Predators. When Gallant gets fired up, it's pretty funny.
Yeah,
he was mad.
It takes
yesterday.
quite a bit.
Yeah,
he's pretty even keel for the most part.
He's yelling
gruff,
at Tony
but
D'Angelo coming off the ice. Yeah,
gotta like it. It's the playoffs, baby.
It is the playoffs. We're off and running here today on Robby and Rexrode, taking your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. We'll get into the state of Vols and Vandy baseball coming up next. Take your thoughts as well, 615-737-1025. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
The college football season never stops. ESPN college football analyst Trevor Manich joins Stillman and Company every Tuesday at 4:30.
They've got to do what Nick Saban in Alabama has done so successfully over the last 10 years.
Presented by Houston Clinic on Nashville's best sports talk. ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Getting enough sides so you don't have to share? That's finger licking good. Order the KFC Side Lovers meal today and get 3 large KFC sides served with 8 pieces of tenders or fried chicken. Prices and participation may vary.
I come from a military family.
That's Stasha at Genesis Diamonds talking about the Hero Rewards program at Genesis, providing special discounts every day for heroes in uniform.
Whatever their budget is, we're going to make sure it stretches the best for them and that they will get the most beautiful ring at the best value.
Special hero pricing on any item extends to all military plus police, fire, and first responders.
They make us have the great life we have, and we are eternally grateful for that.
Genesis Hero Rewards program and free services is yours for life, no matter where you move.
Travel anywhere in the world, we're one phone call away. So no matter where you're stationed, if you're military or if you're a police officer and you go to another state, we're going to take good care of you.
Of course, it doesn't hurt that Genesis owner Boaz Ramon is himself a veteran of the Israeli Army.
Boaz, having served in the military, appreciates the military and what they do for us.
Genesis Diamonds, where our heroes in uniform get red carpet pricing and white glove treatment every day of the year.
Because they're there for us.
Genesis Diamonds and pre-owned Rolexes, continuously voted best jewelry store and best place to buy an engagement ring. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
The Game text line is driven by Wilson County Hyundai. Online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Be a part of the conversation. Call or text the Game at 615-737-1025.
Curation CBD is a local family-owned business started and grown right here in Middle Tennessee. Curation's mission is to provide the community with locally and organically sourced CBD products for everyday use. Curation means healing, and their CBD products will do just that. Curation CBD is a certified Tennessee product and is available at the Painted Tree in Franklin. Or visit them online and order now on their website at curationcompany.com. Use promo code DDC25 at checkout for 25% off Curation CBD. Curation, CBD products curated for life.
It's the perfect season for a powerful business upgrade with Dell Technologies Summer Sale Event. Save up to 45% on secure PCs built for business with Windows 10 Pro. You'll also find great savings on Dell servers, monitors, docks, and other accessories to help boost productivity, plus enjoy free shipping on everything. Take the lead with Windows 10 Pro devices. Call 877-ASK-DELL for a Dell Technologies advisor who can help you find the right tech. That's 877-ASK-DELL for business specials during Dell's Summer Sale Event.
Nothing feels more like summer than bare feet on freshly cut grass. And this Memorial Day, the Home Depot has savings on all the things you need to get your lawn in shoeless shape. Get hassle-free cutting, trimming, and cleaning power with cordless lawn tools from Robby. Whatever your lawn needs, we have tools to get the job done that won't leave you tangled up. So what are you waiting for? It's time to feel the grass between your toes. Feels like Memorial Day at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Okay, let's start unloading the sod over here.
The grass is always greener when Haruka's Lawn Care does the mowing.
And then we want to get the flower bed started before lunch.
They need a new landscaping designer to keep their budding business growing.
Oh, can we double check the incline here? This one needs to drain this way.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
It's on, it's happening. Remember, you can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter.
Get out of the way, I'm watching the game.
Presented by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. We may now begin our day. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezvik here with you on this Monday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Taking your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Joe Rexrode, another sweep for Tony Vitello and the Tennessee baseball team. They get it done at Mississippi State. They scored approximately 3,000 runs on Thursday, which we talked about on Friday, and then they finished it off over the weekend with a weekend sweep of the Bulldogs. So that is yet another sweep. They finished the regular season, I think it was 49-7 was the final tally of the regular season. Pretty good stuff from Tony Vitello and company. And now that conversation has creeped back up, and Mississippi State's coach was talking about it. There's lots of talk about it on the SEC Network broadcast over the weekend. could this be the best college baseball team ever? Now is the time of the year where you've got to finish the job and prove it if you're Tennessee. But you talk about a heck of a regular season. That one's going to be tough for Tony Vitello, I think, to ever top.
Yeah, incredible. Talk about a rough weekend for the two teams that played in the championship series, Mississippi State and Vanderbilt. But we'll get to Vanderbilt in a minute. Vanderbilt, by the way, 26-3, stands as the best SEC outcome ever, and that team did not win it all. 25-5 for the Vols, 49-7. I mean, I got to find this. Someone sent this out. What they led the SEC in, and again, the SEC is the premier college baseball conference in America. Everybody cares about it, invests in it. There's talent galore, and basically. Okay, yeah, this is actually a Wes Rucker tweet. So this is what they led the SEC in: batting average, slugging, OBP, OPS, runs, scored runs allowed, hits, RBI, homers, triples, doubles, total bases, walks drawn, walks allowed, ERA, opponent BA, strikeouts thrown, and fielding percentage.
It's pretty
so
good.
Every aspect of baseball, they were the best of the SEC, basically.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's I think it's going to be fun, and it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. The pressure is going to be on. First you have Hoover. It's Hoover this week. I think the SEC tournament's cool, but it's also like it's a little bit anticlimactic. I guess. I mean, for Tennessee, it's like it means nothing. Honestly, it means zero to them. They are going to be the number one seed. They're going to host all that stuff. If they win the regional, they're going to host Super Regional. But if for them, hey, why not add another to your list of achievements? And it may well be Tennessee. If Vanderbilt can beat Ole Miss in the 8-9 game, then it will be Vanderbilt, Tennessee on Thursday? I think that's right.
I believe so.
So, chance for Vanderbilt to get back to Tennessee, but I don't even know what to think of Vanderbilt right now.
Well, let's go there because it's been a rocky season for Vanderbilt by their standards. Now, they're still a very good baseball team, but the lineup, I think, has been way more inconsistent than most people thought it would be to this point. It did not go well for Vanderbilt this weekend. What do you make of kind of the spot that they're in right now? We've seen, Tim Corbin coach teams figure it out as the season goes along and play their best baseball in the postseason. So we'll see if that can happen again this year. But something just kind of feels off by their standards.
Well, the thing is, you're right about the lineup. That's kind of been the thing all year. I mean, it hasn't. It's been kind of up and down. I mean, it hasn't been great, and at times they've wanted for offense, but like last weekend they go to Arkansas, a top 5 team, and they win a series.
Yep.
And so they're coming back home with a real chance to host in the NCAA tournament, and like they've got a ton of talented pitchers. They probably don't haven't had enough like consistent excellent pitching, but they've got a lot of pitching. And for the most part, it's been very good. The bullpen's very, very good. They lose how many runs they give up? Let me see if I can do this. They gave up 42 runs in a 3-game sweep at the hands of LSU.
Yeah.
And they were up, 8-4?
They're up 8-4 to start the 7th inning.
Yeah, on Sunday, lose 21-10. So, like, in one weekend, their pitching just melted down completely. So, that's tough because – so now they end up with a losing record in the SEC, which, again, like you said, it's still a very good team. I would not want to the thing is they're going to be on the road now for the first weekend of the, for regional, and there's going to be a host once. It's just going to be like, you got to be kidding me, Like, you don't want to see them, but at the same time, it's been – they're certainly a flawed team, and as it turns out, it's funny because they end at 35-19, 14-16. Go back to that Tennessee sweep, which at the time was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, it's exactly what should have happened. Now that we've seen both these teams play out, I mean, Tennessee's just much, much better this year.
What did you make of Tim Corbin on Saturday? So, I'm following along with the game, and like we said, they're up 8-4 in the 7th inning, and then all of a sudden it's 21-9. Vanderbilt eventually makes it 21-10, and that's the final score. They lose. They get swept over the weekend by LSU, and Tim Corbin, not really much time for the media after that, and walks out of the field. And I think Spencer Jones was the guy that got sent out there. What did you make? Look, we've talked about this before. Tim Corbin does not love losing. I don't know that I've ever seen anyone hate losing more than Tim Corbin hates losing. So we've talked about that several times here on the show. Not a great look for Tim Corbin over the weekend. What did you think of his decision to just basically blow things off on Saturday?
As you're asking me that, I'm looking on Twitter. Michelle has this freaking replay of me slapping myself. Darn you, Michelle. Corbin may have done that after the game.
He might have.
Actually,
he like losing at all.
He actually has said at one point after some loss, didn't he say something like, "I'm going to hit myself with a hammer"? Yeah. So as a rule, I don't like it. I don't like it. I think you've got to if media there to cover you, you're the coach, you got to talk. I do. I mean, with him, I honestly, having seen him after losses, and that, considering what that loss was and what that series was and how, again, it looked like maybe they were starting to gear up here, and all of a sudden it's like, no, actually, how about a complete meltdown and a sweep? I'd say a little bit of grace to Tim Corbin on this one. It probably wouldn't have been a joyous occasion for the assembled media anyway. I don't know who was there. I mean, Aria for sure. Aria Gers from the Tennessean, who has done a fantastic job of covering this team. Like, if there's a beat writer out there who covers a beat who is more dug in on the intricacies of a team, I mean, show them to me. I think Aria has been amazing. Aria, and I think Gentry was there. I don't know, maybe some TV. So it wasn't a ton of people. But, that kind of tells you where they are right now. Very frustrating for them.
So where do they go from here? Because it's kind of been, like you said, they'll show up and they'll go beat Arkansas in a weekend series. Then it goes really poorly for them like LSU. Like Tennessee, you know what the expectation is heading in. Like I think it's reached the point, and this is probably not fair, but it's reached the point with some of their fan base where it's going to be national title or bust for this team, just based on how good they are. We know what the expectation is for those guys. What is your expectation for this Vanderbilt team heading into the postseason? Because hosting is out the door now, I think.
Well, speaking of Aria, and we'll have to get her on here soon as the postseason progresses, but she had a good point that they need. Vanderbilt's been a much better road team than home team for whatever reason this year. But they've had some really good success away from home, and they've had just some really bad moments at home. They need a northern, hot weather is not good. This is a pitching staff that I guess challenges hitters, a lot of fastballs, and they give up home runs. So she had a good point. Maybe, somewhere a little bit north or a little bit cooler or something like that might help them. Look, if you tell me right now Vanderbilt's going to be in a super regional, I'm not. I'm okay. I'm not going to be that surprised. They've got still a lot of really good players. Enrique Bradfield is a catalyst for that team. They've got a lot of arms. They've got you got guys like Dom Keegan's having a great year. I mean, Spencer Jones. I mean, they've got a lineup with some talent. It's just they haven't been able to put it all together consistently. And Carter Holton got the weekend off. The freshman, really good player. I mean, they've got arms. Futrell. I mean, Maldonado. They've got talent, but I don't know. After this last weekend, I could see that being a sign of just rough things that come, or maybe it's a galvanizing moment for them. I feel like Hoover is probably important for them to get some momentum and confidence going.
Yeah, and we'll see if they could do that starting later this week in the SEC baseball tournament. But I did not expect going back to the Tennessee Vanderbilt series, when Tennessee swept them, that was kind of an eyebrow raiser for me. But my immediate thought was, well, it's Vanderbilt. They'll be fine. I mean, they'll be fine coming down the stretch. It's been a little bit more rocky than I expected it to be for Vanderbilt this year. And I think there is some uneasiness. Now, look, big picture, that program's going to be fine. Tim Corbin's in charge. They're going to be fine. But this season, I think, has been way more rocky than most Vanderbilt fans thought it would be coming in.
Yeah, no question. Of course, you've got I really thought, and I'm not going to be shocked if it happens. I really thought this year we might be talking about both of them in Omaha again. Still could happen. But if things continue as they're going, it's going to be Vanderbilt fans gritting their teeth as Tennessee goes deep into the postseason. So, I mean, at this point, I would say it's like I love this thing, like the whole oh, now you care about baseball.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. But now I'm seeing some things the Vol Twitter and this stuff can be hilarious. Like, oh, you don't know. You've never known anything about baseball till now. And I'm like, see, that sounds like something you say to someone who's a new soccer fan or whatever. Baseball's, I mean, not everybody, but I mean, people
pretty familiar with baseball.
Yeah, people are familiar with the sport. Yeah. This isn't like lacrosse or something, But man, people, the hatred for the Vols, and Vitello, and
it's running. If they lose in the Super Regional and they're out, the amount of it's going to be something on social media. It's going to be amazing.
Did you see the video, Ben McKee video that I retweeted the other day?
Oh yeah,
dude, that was incredible.
Oh yeah,
feeding each other turkey legs. I mean, you got to love this team.
We'll take your thoughts, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Coming up next, some interesting comments from John Hines that I think may signal what the future could look like at top 4 on defense for the Predators. We'll get to that coming up next. Let me tell you about my friends at FanDuel Sportsbook. The NBA playoffs are heating up, and you can make every game feel like Game 7 on FanDuel Sportsbook, an official partner of the NBA. Throughout the playoffs, all customers can place a no-sweat same-game parlay every single week. You'll get up to $20 in free bets if you don't win. FanDuel has so many different ways to play, and best of all, when you do win, you'll get paid faster than a fast break. I think Golden State and Dallas is over. I think Golden State is going to complete the sweep coming up in Game 4. Miami-Boston, very interesting. Game 4 coming up tonight in the Eastern Conference Final. I think the Celtics win tonight, but give me Bam Adebayo over on points again as well. I think he's found his groove offensively. But you take it any way you want to take it. If you're new to FanDuel, just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Sign up with promo code ROB to get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. Once again, that promo code is ROB. And if you already have an account, you're all set to bet. Either way, you'll get up to $20 in free bets if your same-game parlay during the playoffs doesn't win. FanDuel Sportsbook, an official partner of the NBA. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Refund issued is non-withdrawable free bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max free bet of $20 per week. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Got a gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Want the latest on the Predators from the people that cover them?
Heck of a year so far for the Predators. They've been so much fun to watch.
Join Robby Stanley for Preds Insiders every Monday at 6.
I feel probably as good about this group of 6 on D.
Presented by Dr. Kelly Rice on Smashville's best sports talk. ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Getting enough sides so you don't have to share? That's finger licking good. Order the KFC Side Lovers Meal today and get 3 large KFC sides served with 8 pieces of tenders or fried chicken. Prices and participation may vary.
Hey, Ray Jeter here with Harness. Are you looking to take ownership in a position that will support your growth and development? We are an excavation and site utilities contractor. Several things set us apart from our competition, but we take the most pride in the professional development of our people. We have multiple openings for operators, pipe layers, and laborers. Our pay and benefits are second to none, including our 401k program. Apply today at selectharness.com. Harness LLC. Build people, move dirt.
If you've been thinking about remodeling your home's kitchen or bath, contact the countertop experts at Smoky Mountain Tops. Willie Donick here, and I'm proud to tell you about my longtime friends. We installed Smoky Mountain Top surfacing in our kitchen years ago, and it's remained durable and super easy to clean up. Smoky Mountain Tops is proud to offer the new prestigious Vidara Quartz for your kitchen or bath countertops. Check out the stunning new Vidara Quartz shown at Smoky Mountain Top Studio. Contact the pros at Smoky Mountain Tops. Quality, service, and dedication. SmokyMountainTops.com.
Tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the next generation of drivers, where titanium ends and the carbon age begins. Introducing the new Stealth Carbon Wood driver from TaylorMade, with 60 layers of carbon twist face technology designed for better energy transfer and faster ball speeds. Come into Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops is home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, or shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
Nashville is growing, and so are we. The Nashville Sheriff is hiring correctional officer trainees. Starting pay is $38,300. After 8 weeks paid training, earn $41,767. Come join our team and ask about our new paid job shadowing program. Join the best in correction. Apply now at sheriff.nashville.gov/apply or call 615-862-8170. That's 615-862-8170. The Nashville Sheriff, we're more than corrections.
Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN.
Welcome into the DDC.
Starting company is delivered. There's a new way to hear 102.5 The Game. Nashville's best sports talk on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24. You now have two choices to hear our great sports programming.
Get the extra point, no problem.
And the Nashville Predators.
Scores!
Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
Hey, it's ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck on Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game. We are streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game Studio here with you on this Monday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you, taking your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. So, we discussed the John Hines, David Poile press conference last week, and obviously a lot to sift through there last Friday morning here on the show. Lots of things said by John Hines and David Poile on Thursday in the formal part of the press conference. But, Joe, I caught up with John Hines after the formal part of the press conference and talked about Dante Fabro and Alex Carrier specifically and their roles in the top four. We've talked about that a lot this year. Did you see the proper growth from Fabro and Carrier? Was not really all that impressed with either one of them in the playoffs with the way they played. Now, get in line of people I wasn't overly impressed with against the Colorado Avalanche. I understand that. But the question that I have is, do you feel good enough that Dante Fabro and Alex Carrier are good enough in the top four for you to win and win at a high level as you move forward? And I talked to John Hines about that on Thursday after the press conference. Here's what Preds head coach John Hines had to say about the top four on defense.
Now we know what kind of players Yossi and Ekholm are, obviously. What's your confidence level right now in Fabro and Carrier in terms of being those top four reliable guys on a consistent basis?
Yeah, I think those guys have done a good job, and you know, we've seen definitely growth and progression. I think they both have to have a big offseason. I think when you look at the NHL now and you look at, you know, they're not the biggest players, so their strength and their speed and their ability to be able to compete in the defensive areas, that's got to take another step. I think even when we look in the playoffs and some of those elite level players, that's got to be at a different level. But I think they both bring, like, they both can move the puck, they both are good skaters, so they got to utilize those things. I think to a strong point. They both progress. You know, both from playing their first 82-game schedule, but you know, we'd like to see another step for them to be, you know, solidified top four at a level that can help you win down the stretch and win a playoff round and make a run. And right now, our team and those guys aren't at that level.
Nice mute for me after that. It was good stuff.
Happy Monday.
So that was John Hines on Thursday talking about Dante Fabro and Alex Carrier. Now, there's a few things that stand out to me, Joe, from those comments. You know, you talked about it being the first 82-game season and that those guys took a step, and I would agree with that. I think they both took a step at times this year. He also said, I mean, they're not the biggest guys, and they've got to work on their strength and skating, and said right now they're not at a level that you can win down the stretch in the playoffs with in terms of, on a consistent basis, top four guys. I don't know. Does that signal that maybe the Predators could be looking to add on defense this offseason? Maybe looking for another top four guy? What did you make of those comments from John Hines about Dante Fabro and Alex Carrier?
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to match that up with what Poile does, you know, because I think that's possible. I still primarily am focused on, you know, what forwards are they getting? What forward with a little S in the parentheses are they getting? But you could make a case, I mean, that maybe they're better off with one of those guys dropping down. I don't know. It's tough. Like I guess with Fabro, I thought he'd have more offensive impact by now. But I guess also if you're just struggling in general, you're trying to figure out some things, maybe it's just harder to get to that. I don't know. I mean, I think he obviously, last year he was a healthy scratch quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, he took a step, but just not as much as you would hope. Carrier, I still think, I don't know, of the two, I think Carrier probably is in better position. I don't think he's as skilled as Fabro, but I think he's probably a more sound bet moving forward that he's going to be in the top 4. Fabro, to me, is it's just a big, big question. Fabro and Tolvanen are the two guys who, you definitely thought, well, I guess with Tolvanen, you definitely thought you'd get more this year. With Fabro, that was a big question in the year. He started to answer it, but where's it going from here? I don't know. So now they have an off season. They have all the information. There's no new information coming on him. What would you do?
Well, look, I said in Call Your Shot Friday last week that I think Dante Fabro will be traded this offseason.
So that's what you would do?
That's not necessarily what I would do. I think, honestly, right now, I think he's better served on their third pair. I really do. He's 23. I think that's the thing to remember. It feels like he's been here forever because he's been here for a while now. You think back to 2019. In some ways, that feels like a different lifetime ago is when he first came in for that playoff series.
He's kind of a victim of doing so well then.
Yeah, well, but just think about how well he fit in immediately. He came in, and the third pair was him and Hamuse, and that was their best defense pairing in the playoffs that year. They were really good together. So, there's been expectation since then. It's not just, fan base expectation. It was David Poile expectation, too. We talk about him moving on from PK Subban to bring in the money to get Matt Duchene, and that was a lot of it. He also had a lot of confidence in Dante Fabro that he was going to be able to step in and play that top 4 role. Did they maybe bring that along too quickly? I think so. I think they kind of realized that at the moment, too, that they brought him along maybe before he was ready to play in that role. But now, he's 23 years old. He'll be 24 coming up in June. We talk about him getting bigger. I don't know how much bigger he's going to get. You can get obviously faster and stronger as you continue to improve. But that's kind of the second offseason in a row. I remember the conversation last year around Fabro was, well, he needs to get bigger and he needs to be stronger on his skates. And that was kind of the message from John Hines. And now we're playing comments again about how, well, they're not the biggest guys, so they need to be stronger and they need to be faster on their skates. And I'm just like, well,
at some point you are what you are, right?
Yeah. So,
yeah, Fabro's never going to be like Shea Weber.
No. So it just made me wonder, I think both of those guys are good players. Dante Fabro, some people take this too far. He's an NHL defenseman. I just don't know that he's a top pairing NHL guy right now. I thought there were some moments this year where he looked really good alongside Roman Josi. And then there were some moments where he didn't. The inconsistency was just, and I think even more so toward the end of the year when the competition started to get raised up and the schedule was tougher and you were playing so many games in the last month of the season there. I thought he struggled a little bit more. The fact of the matter is, we talked about this even before Saros went out. Everybody's going to focus on the forwards this offseason, and I understand it. They need to go get some help in the top 6. But the fact of the matter is their defense was atrocious coming down the stretch. And I wonder if they take a look both at top 6 forward and a top 4 defenseman this offseason. I think there's a chance they will.
Text line, Devin from Dover asking about Ferentz.
Yeah. I don't know that he's going to be NHL ready next year. From what I've heard and from people that I've kind of talked to down there, it was kind of up and down with him this year. So I don't know that he's going to be – I know there's a lot of hype on him coming out of college, and I really liked him as a player, and he got a couple of games up here in the NHL. I don't know that he's going to be ready. That's the other thing. They've spent so much time trying to address the forward position in the draft, and I think they've done a better – you got Tomasino, you drafted Tolvanen, you had 2 forwards in the first round basically this past year. You've done a good job of addressing forwards, and we'll see as they continue to grow and develop if they progress into what they hope they can be. I mean, when's the last time they drafted a defenseman high? It was Dante Fabro. That was 2016. The pipeline is not really that full of defensemen coming up. Maybe that's another area you got to look at. I mean, it's the draft, so they could draft.
And we know they can do that well.
Yeah, and they can. I mean, they've done that well throughout the history of their franchise, but there's not very many guys that they have coming up right now on that side that are really all that explosive. Like, people are waiting on Jeremy Davies to take that next step, and to me, Jeremy Davies is what he is. He's a really good AHL defenseman, and he's probably a 7 or 8 NHL defenseman. Like, that's what he is. I don't know that he's going to get a whole lot better than that.
Yeah, Ferentz coming along would be very important here moving forward.
Yeah, I mean they've got to find some depth there, and like that's the thing, you can't draft everything, and that's another reason why you look back at the second round pick and you're like, okay, at least you took a defenseman with it with Jeremy Lozon that you traded away, but.
He better be good.
He better be pretty good. We'll continue to take your thoughts on the Preds. 615-737-1025. 615-737-1025. Should the Preds look at adding another top 4 defenseman this offseason? We'll continue that conversation next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Hey, this is Andrew Allegretta, voice of the Vandy Boys. Listen to the Commodore Hour every Monday at 6 p.m. during the baseball season. Kevin Ingram and I talk with Coach Corbin and special guests on ESPN 94.9 and streaming on the VU Commodores mobile app.
Willie Donick here for Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. Proud to announce that they have won the Top Gun Award for the best Pella sales organization in the U.S. They have the best culture, best customer satisfaction, and best growth in the business. To celebrate, Pella is offering their amazingly affordable products at 0% financing with no payments for 12 months. Do you need new doors or windows? I suggest you shop with Nashville's Pella experts at Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. Go to PellaofNashville.com.
Out on the trail today, I noticed the signs of spring. A purple lilac, a monarch butterfly, crisp, cool air, and fresh, bright sunshine. And all this beauty puts me in the mood to head over to my favorite adult beverage depot, Red Spirits and Wine, where I can load up the wagon with the best wines, whiskey, and brews to wet my whistle. At Red, you'll always find the best selection and value, but their Cracker Jack crew is flat out second to none. Just square dealing folks and straight shooters with great recommendations, and they never come off like some of those big talking fancy pantsers that are just totally full of, well, let's just say fertilizer. Red Spirits and Wine is the only place I do my trading, and once you've seen Red, there just ain't no sense in looking elsewhere. It's like British pop singer Billy Ocean once said, no more love on the run. Red Spirits and Wine is the real deal. Open 7 days a week at Highway 70 South and Old Hickory Boulevard. And follow Red on Facebook and Instagram as well. We'll see you at Red.
Here at Total Wine & More, you'll find what you love and love what you find, especially our totally low prices.
I'm firing up the grill for burgers and want to impress the neighbors.
This bourbon has a smoky flavor that'll go great with your grilling.
Nice. Wow. And look at that price. Well done.
I prefer medium rare. Your neighbors will love it. Find what you love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More, with the lowest prices in Nashville. Drink responsibly, B21.
It's beginning to feel a lot like summer, and the Home Depot has savings on everything you need to get it started this Memorial Day. Step up your grill game with propane griddles from Nexgrill for the perfect smash burger. Then feast with your friends and family around a new patio set from Hampton Bay. However you plan to kick off summer, the Home Depot has savings on everything you need to do it right. Feels like Memorial Day at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Don't miss out on Clean Car Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. If your car is ready for a spring cleaning, stop by for great deals on everything you need to keep it looking like new, including Mother's California Gold Wash and Wax, just $5.99 for a 64-ounce bottle. That's a $5 savings. Visit the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts today or shop O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Darren McFarland.
He's cool. He's got a personality, and they make fun of him.
Willie Donick.
Would this be a fun guy to come to work and hang around with all day?
Chase McCabe.
They're just like, hey, we need you to play yourself.
Darren, Donick, and Chase have you covered weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
I would say that, we got to add some players or find some groups that we can strengthen our team, strengthen our depth, and be able to surround the core players with the style of players. I think that can help them be great, but also have our team more competitive in the hardest part of the schedule and into the playoffs.
That was John Hines at the press conference last Thursday discussing some moves that the Predators could make this offseason to get better, whether that's via free agency, via trade, via draft, what have you. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode. You're on ESPN 102.5 The Game. So we played the clip, the last segment, talking about Dante Fabro and Alex Carrier. John Hines saying it's an important offseason for both of them. They both need to get a little bit bigger, need to get a little bit stronger on their skates coming down the stretch too. Now, look, I thought especially in the first round, I thought Carrier got overwhelmed a few times in terms of Colorado was just in your face all the time, and they force you to either muscle your way out of there or get really good passes, crisp decisions coming out of the zone. I thought Carrier just got picked off a couple of times, and Colorado was able to hem him in. So you can learn from that. It is easy to kind of forget this is his first 82-game NHL season. Both those guys are still very young. I just, if I'm the Predators moving forward, I don't know that both of those guys are your ideal top four defensemen. I mean, not everybody can be Roman Josi and Matthias Ekholm. I understand that. So, you got Ekholm starting to enter into the back part of his career. Josi's in the prime right now, but you're going to have to figure out who are those next guys in the top four as you move forward here. And I just don't know. I'm not convinced that it's on their roster or in their organization right now. So I'm not saying that top four defensemen would be my top priority this offseason. I still think adding to your top six needs to be the number one goal for the Predators. But if there's a top four guy out there, and maybe not, I'm not talking like John Klingberg or anybody that's going to make $8 or $9 million this offseason, but maybe more of a veteran guy that can fill in on the top four. He's not a superstar, but a stay-at-home kind of guy that you can get for $4.5, $5 million a year. I'd probably entertain that if I'm the Predators this offseason.
Would you if you're going to do something like that, that's another forward that, that maybe you could have signed.
Yeah.
I mean, would you look at it like 1-1 as opposed to like trying to get 2 for it? And again, we're talking about all this stuff, and I think under the assumption that Forsberg signs, so
honestly, if it was me, and I don't know if they'll do this or not, but if it was me, assuming Forsberg is back, which is an assumption, but assuming Forsberg is back, I would target one top six guy and one top four defenseman. That's me. That's how I would handle it. Now, I know there are some people that say, no, go get 2 top six guys and the defense is what it is. You can worry about that later. But I would go one top six guy, one defenseman, and I would hope that Tomasino comes in next year and is a dude in your top six.
Yeah.
That's the way I'd go about it.
I could see happening. I think, he's like, you look at Tomasino and it's clear, like, he's young, he's talented, he's going to be good, and also he's like big off season. You can see how that'll pay off for him.
Yep.
Like Fabro, to your point, yeah, like Hines says the same thing every year. It's like, okay, so at what point has he just kind of reached his limit of what he's going to be physically,
Well, I can tell you this. I mean, I talked to John Hines off to the side a little bit the other day. They're very excited about Tomasino. Like I think it's fair to say that his rookie year probably went better than they hoped it would in terms of his ability to learn how to play the game at the NHL level. He basically admitted, after game one that game one was too much for him. Like the playoffs, he'd never experienced anything like that before. And then he came back, and they thought he responded really well in games 3 and 4 after that as well. So I think that they feel really good about him. My question with him is, can he get big enough to where he can kind of use that power game a little bit more? I think speed-wise, he's there. He's got great vision. He makes great plays with the puck. I think the next step to his game, I think getting to the middle of the ice on a more consistent basis has got to be something that happens for him. And
that's where
Philip Forsberg and Philip Forsberg went through the exact same thing. Like, it was different with Forsberg because he was coming over from Europe and had to learn, how to play on North American ice. It's the same thing we've talked about with Tolvanen. Tomasino knows that. I mean, he's played in Canada and the United States his whole life, so he knows how to play on North American ice. It's just a simple fact of getting bigger. I think Forsberg, from his first full year in Milwaukee to his first year in the NHL, he gained like 12 pounds of muscle. Like, he put in a lot of work. I'm not saying Tomasino's got to get that big, but it's a big offseason for him in terms of being a little bit sturdier out there.
Yeah, and obviously it's helped Forsberg a lot, being a power forward. Yeah, Tomasino, I don't think he's going to be that kind of guy. He's going to be butt-checking people all over the place.
Probably not.
But you can see what that would do for him. So, yeah. So he'll you can count him, I think, as you're feeling good about him as a top 6 guy. I guess it's just, it's just hard because I want, it's who exactly are we talking about, and even then what kind of impact are you talking about, But I hear what you're saying, the idea of splitting it up. You could also, though, that's the thing. It's those two guys. It's just how are you feeling about the ceiling? I feel like Fabro has always been considered the guy with the really high ceiling, and I do feel like there's a lot more offensive game there than we see, but maybe that's been a little bit overstated.
Well, look, I think I want to be careful with how I say this because I'm not trying to compare him apples to apples. I think the way that he plays the game is more in the mold of like Ryan Suter in terms of he doesn't really do anything flashy offensively. Like, Suter is a great player, but Suter, if you watch him play, like there's maybe like 5 times a year where Suter does something and you're like, how about that offensively? Like, I kind of view Fabro in the same way. He can pass. The biggest thing that I think Fabro does really well, he gets the puck up ice very quickly and does it very well, and his stretch pass is really good. Now, sometimes that gets him in trouble, and he turns the puck over the other way, but he does a really good job of that. The point you bring up about the ceiling, I think, is really interesting, and that's the question that John Hines and David Poile and the Predators have to figure out. You have, as the moment, you have 174 games of sample size in the regular season with Dante Fabro, and then you've got some playoff games thrown in there a little bit as well. Like, how much better do you think he's going to get? That's kind of the question you have to answer. I think he can get better. I think he can. I still think he's got, tools-wise, the ability to be a top 4 defenseman. If you're the Predators, you have to answer the question of, all right, do you think he's going to get there or do you not? And if you don't, may need to go address that this offseason.
Keith from Bowling Green on the text line, driven by WilsonCounty.com, said as bad as Carrier was, they better look for 2 top 4 defensemen. Well, they can't add everything. There are limitations to what they can do. Devin from Dover asked, how close is Tolvanen to being in a Fiala situation and being traded? I think that I think that's something to possibly talk about. A young player with some promise, a Fabro, a Tolvanen. Do they look to move any of these guys?
They could. The thing is, like, if you're trading Tolvanen, what are you getting back for him? Like, Fiala, to me, was in a different spot because there had been enough flashes where you're like, okay, that guy can play.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't really seen a whole lot of that. Like, Tolvanen, we talked about it a few weeks ago.
He's got about 6 weeks.
He's got about a 15-game stretch where he was like, woo, okay.
Was that all it was?
15 games? Well, look, he was good that year.
So 4
But
weeks.
when you break down just purely production of the goals going in, it was basically 15 games.
It was a heater.
Yeah. And that's basically what you have from Tolvanen at the NHL level. I just don't know. I don't know what you're getting back for him.
Like a year ago, you could have traded him off that,
yeah.
And I think you'd find some interest.
Yeah.
You'd find more interest than you would now.
And the other part about him is, like, his contract is so cheap that I almost wonder if you're the Predators, let's weigh risk-reward of trading him and then him figuring it out somewhere else, or just paying him a relatively little amount of money and maybe hoping he figures it out here. I mean, people are going to roll their eyes when I say this. He did figure out a lot of his game this year in terms of what they've been asking him to do away from the puck. The offense just totally dried up.
Yeah.
And you put the whole picture together next year.
Well, that's the thing. Like, that helped Duchesne, right?
Yep.
But like it led to offense at times for him. It did not for Tolvanen. I still have no idea. Like, it was like a pitcher who just came off Tommy John.
Yeah.
Like, the fastball's gone.
It was weird.
No, I'm not saying it was like he has like Justin Bradford's slap shot, okay? I don't know why I'm taking a shot at him. I'm just thinking of the Mighty Drunks.
Bradford's got a great shot.
I'm thinking of my favorite beer league hockey players, Bradford
See his
and Gover.
golf cart video, Justin Bradford's.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing. Go look on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
No, I did not. I will. But it lost something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think clearly it did. So how do you get that back? I mean,
that's his superpower.
Well, and then in the Colorado series, he'll come out with a quick snapper, and you're just like, okay, well, where's that been all year long?
That looked like what we thought we'd see a lot more this year. So, but that's the thing. When you bring up a great point, it's like, yeah, you can move him, but then, yeah, right now you're not paying him much. What if he does actually have a bounce back next year? And then you're like, gosh, he actually could have fit into this top six that needs work.
It's an interesting spot for them to be in. We'll continue to take your thoughts. 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Coming up next, we'll get into the Titans. Could there be a position out there of need for the Titans that they could still address via free agency? We'll get into that next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Listen to Stillman and Company with me, Caroline Fenton, all season long on ESPN 102.5 The Game for your chance to win Nashville Sounds tickets courtesy of 312 Pizza Company in Germantown.
The voice of reason.
If I'm the official, I would send both teams to the locker room and say, this is going to stop.
The voice of the fan.
Our entire team's a mash unit right now.
The voice of Nashville sports is your home of Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Listen up, people. Your first bet with Caesar Sportsbook is risk-free, up to $1,100. Download the app and use promo code RADIOCZR and then place your first bet. If you win, congrats. But if not, you'll get your wager back as a free bet. Must be 21 and physically present in Tennessee. New users only. Bet amount of qualifying wager returned only if wager is settled as a loss. Paid as a single bet credit. Must be used within 14 days. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. Gambling problem? Call or text the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. Caesar Sportsbook. Download it.
The Gallatin Hotel is a vibrant and charming boutique hotel tucked into East Nashville and was voted the #1 boutique hotel in East Nashville by TripAdvisor. Not only is the Gallatin unique by design, but they also give away the majority of their profits to those who need it most and provides beds, food, and supplies to Nashville's underserved communities and those experiencing homelessness. Just one more reason to love your stay at the Gallatin. Visit thegallatinhotel.com to book your stay now. The Gallatin Hotel. It's good vibes only.
Spring is in the air, and that means all kinds of fun in the sun is just around the corner. But if you're feeling low energy, if you've put on weight and just aren't getting the gains from your workouts, if you aren't sleeping well and your libido isn't what it used to be, maybe you aren't looking forward so much to sunny days and shirtless weather. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic, and if this sounds like you, we might very well have the answer, because you may very well be suffering from low testosterone. And that, my friend, is something that can be effectively treated to get you back to the guy you used to be. The Tennessee Men's Clinic has treated thousands of men for low T. Our treatment programs are highly effective with most men seeing results in just a few weeks. Assuming you're like most guys, you'll sleep better, have better workouts, have higher energy, and your sex life might just improve as well. So give us a call. Just $99 gets you a PSA and T test and a medical consult. Call 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090. Or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra. Results vary.
So many times guests come in with pictures from Instagram, Pinterest, and Facebook and are amazed that we have those rings in stock.
David Cooper, Vice President at Genesis Diamonds, talking about how Genesis stays on the cutting edge.
We pride ourselves of staying ahead of the curve of fashion and seeking what's new, what's hot all over the world, what's hot all over the internet, and having that in stock for you, where other stores are still chasing styles that were cool maybe 5 or 10 years ago.
Why settle for an outdated style or a stale design? Make the switch to Genesis and get the ring of her dreams with over 4,000 cutting-edge choices from the top bridal designers in the world.
We have the designer looks that you see everywhere in stock in a variety of metals, a variety of sizes and shapes, and a variety of budgets, so every customer can have exactly what they want.
Genesis Diamonds and pre-owned Rolexes.
We are so honored and proud that so many people have made the switch to Genesis Diamonds and not only told their friends about Genesis, but have brought their friends to Genesis.
Green Hills and Cool Springs.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, broadcasting on Alexa.
I appreciate that.
And other smart speakers.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun!
On your morning drive, this is Robby and Rexrode. With Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
Welcome back in, hour number 2 of Robby and Rexrode. You're on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Monday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. We'll have Corey Curtis from News 2 coming up at 8 o'clock. Darren McFarland at 9 o'clock. And as always, welcoming your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Joe Rexrode, now that the dust has settled on the NFL draft, rookie minicamp has come and gone, and the Titans are in the middle of the offseason program right now. I'm looking at their roster, and you got right now a receiving core of Robert Woods and Treylon Burks and Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, and I guess maybe Des Fitzpatrick. Not a whole lot else right now for the Titans at wide receiver. And I'd wonder, we talked about this heading into the draft when A.J. Brown was still on the team. Could you draft Treylon Burks and then have kind of that three-headed monster of Brown, Robert Woods, and Burks? Obviously, one of those is gone now with A.J. Brown. Do you think the Titans should look at, do you think the Titans will look at bringing in another veteran wide receiver or two to add to the mix right now into a wide receiver room that is pretty light on veteran talent and snaps at the position this year?
Yes. Well, should, yes, but also what's realistic? You know, that's the question. And this is kind of to our last discussion. And I guess it's probably a little different football than hockey, right? There is a lot of off-season stuff going on right now where they're getting a lot of information on guys like Des Fitzpatrick. There's a key. Racey McMath. I mean, those two guys in particular, to me, help answer the question. I also would say, you know, a guy who did look good last weekend, Reggie Robertson. I could see him being like one of those camp stories. We know they added Phillips, like you said, the legend. NWI is in place.
He's a lock, man. 65 catches this year.
Yeah, so you got that? Okay, all right. Call that shot. But I think certainly you could make a case if any of those names are not, you know, because the thing is, after Woods, they're really like, you know what Woods is, and he's coming off an ACL, but you know what Woods is. He's good. You know, he's going to be a good player. I think he's going to be a really good addition for this offense. And then really and Westbrook-Ikhine is like, in all seriousness, like we joke about it, but he's solid. I mean, you can count on him. He's solid. But who else do you know is going to be able to consistently be a threat for you downfield? Obviously, you hope Treylon Burks is. I'm certainly not overreacting to last weekend. I do think that tomorrow there'll be a lot of eyeballs on Treylon Burks with the OTA, the first time that we're allowed into OTAs to watch the veterans and the rookies perform. But, even if everything goes great from here with him, what is that? That guarantees nothing in his production next year. He's going to get chances. He's going to get opportunities. I think you make a case to go get a receiver, but who would that be right now?
Well, the question is who's out there. So let's go down the list. Julio's out there. Obviously, that's not happening. Will Fuller is out there, and I've seen some Titans fans say, "Hey, Will Fuller, let me tell you, when he's healthy, he can be effective. When he's healthy is a very important part of that equation." But Will Fuller is out there and available. T.Y. Hilton has not officially announced what he's going to do yet. Cole Beasley in the slot, Emmanuel Sanders, and then the list starts to dry. I mean, there's OBJ out there as well, but that ain't happening. So the list starts to dry up a little bit after that.
And like the Beasley thing, I know Chase is big on that. They drafted Phillips. I mean, go with a young guy. I think he's got a chance to help them and be on a rookie deal. And so I would do that. I don't know. I mean, Sanders, how old is Sanders?
He's 35.
He's been a real nice player.
Yeah.
Like, he's the type of guy, that I could see maybe being a nice addition, but he's up there, though, And then the next question is, okay, is this where they need to add? Okay, how are they feeling about it? Like, how is Dez? Did Dez have a huge offseason? I don't know. How is Racy? Is Racy on his way to becoming the next Julio Jones, as former Titan A.J. Brown proclaimed?
Well, maybe so. If that's the case, you may be in good shape.
I mean, the next Julio Jones, and what was Ferkshire? The next, Mark Bavaro? Or I don't know what people said about him last.
We had the next Julio Jones with Racy McMath and a top-flight tight end in Anthony Ferkshire.
Yeah, I remember writing some of those lies.
Oh,
yeah. Now, we haven't mentioned Mason Kinsey, by the way.
Not.
There's other guys on this. I mean, Cody Hollister's hanging around. Josh Malone, VFL. Josh Malone is in there too. I don't know. The thing is, you could make the case that an offensive line ad is more important if you're going to do some kind of a veteran ad, And maybe they're not going to do anything. I mean, I honestly, at this very moment, so they've signed most of their rookies. So at this very moment, according to Over the Cap, at this moment, they've got $3 million in cap space. So
doesn't leave you a whole lot of room.
It's not exactly overflowing with cap space. So if you're going to do something, if you're going to sign a veteran for someone who's just not just completely off the bargain bin, you're probably going to have to do something with someone's contract too.
Tannehill. Just kick it down the road again.
Ryan, you are definitely going to be the quarterback through 2030. Everybody cool with that? All right. Let's see.
Well, do you feel great about the Titans receiver room right now? I mean, obviously with AJ gone, I think Robert Woods, I have nothing to base this on, but I think Robert Woods, once the season starts, I think he's going to be fine. I think he'll be Robert Woods, and he'll be what they brought him in here to be. Is that Robert Woods? Is he good enough to be a number one wide receiver on a team that you hope could still compete for a Super Bowl? I don't know. He's had moments where, he probably could be, and then moments where he's probably a solid number two, which I think is what you brought him in here to be, with A.J. Brown being your number one. So, obviously a lot of this is going to depend on Treylon Burks, and that's something we're just not going to know the answer to until he gets out on the field. But I don't feel great about the wide receiver room right now.
Well, I think if you're Robert Woods, I mean, you came here to play with A.J. Brown, and the Titans signed you thinking about A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
Oh, this will be a nice compliment to A.J. Brown. Not, it'll be great to rely on this guy as our number one coming off the ACL, and even though he's never really been a number one, I mean, the A.J. Brown thing disrupted the plan. The plan was different, obviously, when they went into these things in free agency, and the A.J. Brown thing has just changed things for the worse, obviously. So I just don't know if there's a great answer beyond, you really need at least one of those young guys to be like, oh, wow, he really has figured it out here.
So would you be willing to take a flyer on Will Fuller?
That'd be the one player in there that I might. Just because there's someone who, look, you can't expect him to play a full season.
Yeah. I mean, that ship has sailed.
You just want him to be available for the correct half of the season, or certain big game. I mean, he gets hurt. We know this. Also, he does the one thing that I don't see anybody else on this roster doing. I mean, Treylon Burks has, he's good speed, but he's not. There's nobody on this roster that's scaring defenses right now, scaring safeties right now, right? Not that I see.
No.
So Will Fuller can do that. Well, I mean, Will Fuller now, how much is he diminished? How much of all the injuries piled up? I don't know. But when he's on the field, usually he's fast, really fast. So that might be worth a look. I mean, I don't know what what's the market for Will Fuller. He's obviously out there.
Yeah,
it's no
Jadeveon
Clowney who apparently is getting offered. Who apparently, Anyway,
congrats to him though. Going back to the Browns.
Yeah, I love that. It was like run it back. I think Buck was like, run back 8-9. Yeah, awesome.
Really,
but he had a good year.
Really looking forward to that. We'll continue to take your thoughts on the Titans. 615-737-1025. Do you think the Titans should add a veteran wide receiver to the group? And if so, who should it be? 615-737-1025. Your Nashville's best deal of the week is Nashville B-Cycle. Nashville B-Cycle has been Music City's station-based bike share system since 2013. Get half off a monthly pass to Nashville B-Cycle, where you can enjoy unlimited 60-minute rides for 30 days now at theGameNashville.com/deals. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN.
Welcome into the DDC.
Starting company is delivered.
There's a new way to hear 102.5 The Game. Nashville's best sports talk on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24. You now have two choices to hear our great sports programming.
Get the extra point, no problem.
And the Nashville Predators.
Scores!
Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
Discover matches all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year. Automatically. Discover. Something brighter. Learn more at discover.com/match.
Get a great deal on versatile Kubota equipment today, like Kubota BX and L Series compact tractors, part of our under 100 horsepower tractor lineup rated #1 for reliability. Z Series mowers and Sidekick utility vehicles. Stop by your local Kubota dealer today. Bring home the Kubota L2501 tractor for 0 down, 0% APR for up to 60 months, plus save up to $1,100 now through June 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more details.
2 locations to serve you: Columbia Kubota or Franklin Kubota. Visit them online at ColumbiaKubota.com or FranklinKubota.com.
Hey, it's Mark Howard here. You've heard me talk about my friends at Apple Collision Centers for a while now, and today I'm here with CEO Stan Harrison to tell you about how they can help ease your stress with your auto body repair.
That's right, Mark. We have 3 convenient locations: Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, ready to serve you. Our people are homegrown right here in Middle Tennessee with over 75 years experience. We can help with all your auto body repair needs.
So stop by and see Stan and his team today and tell them Mark sent you, or visit them online at applecollisioncenters.com.
Nashville Sounds baseball season is underway, and if you haven't been to Third and Home on game day, you're missing out. Third and Home is the newest sports bar in Germantown that overlooks the Nashville Sounds ballpark. From the bar's spacious beer patio, you can literally see the whole Sounds game as if you were sitting in the seats with a ticket. No wonder it's known as Germantown's bar with a ballpark. Head to 3rd Avenue North and check it out for lunch, a night of brews, or to catch a game. Third and Home is open Tuesday through Sunday, and you can even watch batting practice on the patio. For more, visit thirdandhome.com.
Are you just riding through life, living, but not really living? If that sounds like you need to treat yourself to Cartronics, Nashville's premier one-stop shop for vehicle customization since 1982. Their team of install techs provide a 5-star experience from start to finish, ensuring your vehicle is the coolest ride on the block. From cars and trucks to boats, motorcycles, golf carts, and off-road vehicles, Cartronics specializes in personalizing your automotive experience. So visit their website at cartronics.audio and start living today.
Making Moves is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs.
The Cleveland Cavaliers finished last in the Eastern Conference in 2011 after LeBron James left for Miami. This turned out to help them build their foundation for future success. In the 2011 NBA Draft, they had the number 1 and number 4 overall picks, selecting Kyrie Irving and Tristan Thompson, who were pivotal parts on the Cavaliers' 2016 NBA championship, the franchise's first ever.
Build your winning team today. Go to linkedin.com/sports.
Lotteries might work in basketball, but in business, adding the right people has nothing to do with luck. It's all about talking to the right people. Because when you post your job for free, LinkedIn Jobs taps into a network of over 810 million professionals to find the right people for your role. LinkedIn Jobs helps you narrow down the most qualified candidates so you can start hiring the right people. Go to linkedin.com/sports to post your job for free. That's linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
We want to hear from you.
Thanks for taking the call.
Join the conversation. Call or text at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We may now begin our day. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game. We are streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game Studio here with you on this Monday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Talking Titans. Should the Titans add a veteran wide receiver to the mix? Taking your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Dave in Big Rock texting in says, Will Fuller is now out 4 to 6 weeks from Robby and Rexrode talking about him. Thank you, Dave.
Nice.
Appreciate that.
Poor Will.
It is kind of amazing how often he's been hurt.
He's an IFL. Right?
Yes.
Irish for life.
Yes. Hey, look, when he's been on the field, Titans have seen it firsthand. When he's on the field and he's healthy, he's tough to deal with, man.
No doubt.
That hamstring is – I think Titans had some hamstring issues last year. Let's bring in Will Fuller.
Yeah, what's the what's his career high of games played? He hasn't played a full season, right?
I don't think so.
I'm going to look this up.
Gordon from Nashville texting in says, we don't need receiver depth as badly as we need depth in the secondary. Heck, you put a safety out there on offense and maybe Tannehill can complete a pass to him. That's coming from Gordon on the text line. Just throw a defensive player out there and Tannehill, lock in on him. He's ready to go.
Charles Woodson.
Yeah.
Deion Sanders.
Pac-Man Jones.
There you go. Depth in the secondary. I don't think that's a problem at corner. I don't think it's a problem at corner now that they've got McCreary. Remember, they still do have Chris Jackson. They still do have Buster Screen. So I think their corner depth's good. Now their safety depth, I could definitely entertain that. But I think that I think Theo Jackson's going to end up being a nice add. One more reliable safety there, which that could also be could be around. There's talk. Chris Jackson has been talked about as a guy could go to the back and Molden too. Although I've never really seen that with Molden personally.
Yeah,
at his size, but safety depth's a little bit of an issue. But again, I still think offensive line could use a little bit more insurance if there's somebody out there, that you feel good about it, like Dennis Kelly, for example, who's now an Indianapolis Colt.
He is. They let him get away in the division.
The one who got away.
That's right. I got a text that says, "Why not Odell Beckham Jr.?"
I mean, I'm not completely opposed to exploring it.
Yeah.
And you're talking about two ACLs in a row here?
Correct.
Is that right? Yeah. So my question back is, what's the price? I mean, if you can get him at a low cost, sure.
Rams paid him in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Really?
Just throw it out there.
Okay. J-Rob,
how's your Bitcoin game?
J-Rob out there throwing Bitcoin around? Do we have that in Tennessee?
Couldn't tell you, man.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, it's just like at what point is he really? I mean, look, it was a great story last year before he got hurt in the Super Bowl. It was impressive.
They were apparently really struggling to get to a point with A.J. Brown where they were going to pay him a lot of money, and he's 24 years old and has not torn his ACL. Like, do we think John Robinson, the Titans, are going to go down the road aggressively in contract negotiations with Odell Beckham Jr.? Like, I don't know what OBJ's price tag's going to end up looking at, but I know the Rams are going to want him back. I mean, they've been pretty vocal about that. I would assume there are some other teams around the league, maybe the Green Bay Packers, that could want Odell Beckham Jr. as well.
This is your whole angle here.
No, that's it.
Hands off my Odell.
I just don't know what his price is going to be. Like, he was really good for the Rams last year. And, look, he was well on his way to that Super Bowl being really darn good in that game. And then he got hurt. So how do you balance the production in L.A., which was really good, and his age? I think he's 29, and he's 2 consecutive ACL injuries. Like, I don't know what that price tag looks like in this wide receiver market, which has just absolutely exploded this offseason.
The bottom line is someone's probably going to pay too much, and so you're probably not in there if you're done. Again, like what? There's $3 million in cap space right now.
Yeah,
and all of the, I think 6 of the 9 or 7 of the 9 rookies have signed, so there's still more money to apply to the draft class.
Now, is that $3 million in cap space? Is that taking in the Julio stuff, or is that coming post?
That should not be taking the Julio cut into account.
Okay.
So that will certainly help. Certainly. I mean, that's going to be, what is that? Is that going to be post June 1?
Post June 1.
Right. But so then that's
which, by the way, is next week.
That's right. So so you got another $10 million that you should have. So if that's accurate at overthecap.com, then they should be looking at about 13. So yeah, I mean that's some space to do stuff with. Again, you got to sign the rest of your rookies. So you subtract whatever that is, but it's not going to be they've got their bigger contracts signed, right? I don't know who's still left on that front. Do you know off the top of your head? I know that Burks has been signed.
He has. Has McCreary signed? I don't know off the top of my head.
That may be one that's out there. So you take that out, but yeah, there's that leaves you a little bit of space. It's to do something with, but not. I don't think to get into that race, unless you just unless it's just like, look, everything has. And again, you can always do things with a manipulable cap that does exist, but can be moved around for sure. So maybe that's like John Robinson looking at this like you got to get a difference maker at receiver.
Well, the nightmare scenario for the Titans right now at that position is Robert Woods isn't ready to go to start the season, and Treylon Burks isn't ready either. Like, what do you do then if you're the Titans and Robert Woods is still not healthy and Treylon Burks is not where you thought he would be when you drafted him?
NWI,
I guess.
All day.
It's like the New England game all over again from last year.
Yeah.
It's NWI and Des Fitzpatrick, and I guess you go.
Austin Hooper's here.
Go see what Cam Batson's doing. Yeah.
Yeah, he is out there. I assume,
He's out there.
He's out there. Yeah. He's been a heck of a story. Yeah, no, I mean it's not great. I mean, camp is going to be just so critical for Treylon Burks. He's going to get every rep, every opportunity to be instantly a difference maker, and I think they're probably going to give him the ball quickly in a lot of cases and things like that. Let him run after the catch, but it's still not easy. It's not just snap your fingers and you're ready to be a consistent receiver in this league.
Well, and the other part of this is how much can you – let's say they don't go add any more depth at wide receiver. And who knows? Maybe their depth right now, if Burks and Woods work out, maybe it's good enough. But let's say they don't add anything else. How much do you add to the passing game with Okonkwo and with Austin Hooper coming in? Because, the passing game at tight end last year, up until the very end of the season, was virtually non-existent. Like, how much gets added on that front with guys like Hooper and hopefully Okonkwo coming in and making an impact right away? I don't know what the answer to that is. I would assume it's more than we saw last year. If not, it's a big problem.
Yeah, with Hooper, I think it'll be a point of emphasis for sure. And Okonkwo, I like him. I mean, I certainly like the potential there, but it's just I'm keeping the brakes a little bit pumped on a rookie coming right in and making that. But I think you're going to see probably a lot of Swaim and Hooper out there together, right? Stuff like that.
Yep.
So, but yeah, Hooper, I think, instantly becomes an important guy, a guy to watch not next week, tomorrow maybe.
Yeah.
See if he's overcome Tannehill not showing up for OTS.
Well, maybe so.
Or for the
Austin?
For the first part.
Did you know who was throwing you the ball out there? How much of a difference did it make? Ryan Tannehill hit you right in stride. How about that?
So I just think about this because your guy Aaron Rodgers apparently is just totally just dissing the Packers, huh?
I guess so. We really going to do another offseason of this?
Nah, why not?
Jeez. We'll continue to take your thoughts on the Titans. 615-737-1025. 615-737-1025. Another article on Derrick Henry that's very interesting in terms of maybe expecting a downturn from number 22 this year. We'll get to that coming up next. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
This is Tanner Janot, and this is Smashville.
And now down the right wing side, Tanner Janot. His shot, he scored! Tanner Janot with the shot!
This is the flagship of the Nashville Predators Radio Network. ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Discover matches all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year. Automatically. Discover. Something brighter. Learn more at discover.com/match.
From elegant to contemporary, Social Furniture has it all. And right now, get no interest financing on any purchase through Memorial Day. Save hundreds, even thousands, on top brand name bedroom suites, living room and dining sets. Thousands of combinations in stock, ready for immediate delivery. All colors and styles are designer brand names, such as Woodhouse, Sealy, Serta, Kincaid, Bernhardt, Stearns & Foster, and Bassett. Shop local, shop social. Social Furniture opens 7 days a week on the west side, on Charlotte Avenue in the Richland Creek Shopping Center.
Trying to find a new home right now is next to impossible. Very little inventory, prices are crazy high, rates are moving up. Here's a better idea. Let my friends at Loan Pronto refinance your current home, turn all that equity you have into cash, and totally transform your house. A new kitchen, new bathroom, a pool. Think about it. Your home value is up. Instead of wasting all that on an overpriced new house, convert that equity into cash for a home makeover. One local couple did it and got $200,000 out. They added new hardwoods, an outdoor living space, a swimming pool with spa and all new cabinets and appliances, plus a home office. Now they have their dream home, and they never had to move. Call Loan Pronto. Ask about their home improvement refi. Give your home a total makeover and do it now. You can even skip your next house payment in the process. Call now, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval.
Your Nashville's best deal of the week is Nashville B-Cycle, Music City's station-based bike share system since 2013. With over 177 pedal assist electric bikes available from over 20 stations, from Sylvan Park to East Nashville and everywhere in between. Nashville B-Cycle is a fun and sustainable way to get around. And now get half off a monthly pass where you can enjoy unlimited 60-minute rides for 30 days. Get yours at theGameNashville.com/deals.
Houston Clinic Orthopedics wants to thank their patients for voting them the #1 orthopedic practice in the Nashville Scene Poll for 3 years in a row. Their physicians specialize in spine, joint replacement, knee, hip, upper extremity, and other orthopedic conditions. At Houston Clinic Orthopedics, they adhere to all CDC guidelines for the patient's and staff safety. To experience world-class orthopedic care and see a list of all physicians, visit their website at tn.houston.com and book your appointment online today.
There are so many words to describe Panera's new Chef's Chicken sandwiches. The chicken, juicy, succulent, seared. The brioche roll, buttery and toasty. The Parmesan crisps, crunchy, tangy. The secret aioli, creamy and rich. All those words, but when you have a bite, you might just be left speechless. Panera's new Chef's Chicken sandwiches. Enjoy $1 delivery fee when you order on our app. Restrictions apply. For details, visit panerabread.com/delivery info.
Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN.
Welcome into the DDC.
Stomach Company is delivered.
There's a new way to hear 102.5 The Game. Nashville's best sports talk on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24. You now have two choices to hear our great sports programming. Get the extra point, no problem. And the Nashville Predators.
He scores!
Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
Hey, this is Matthias Ekholm. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Got the Rex Rant coming up at 7:45. Joe Rexrode's rant of the day. Taking your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Joe, it kind of feels like this is going to be the offseason where everybody just predicts a downturn for Derrick Henry. We talked about the Football Outsiders piece last week in terms of basically, I mean, there's no basically about it. They called Derrick Henry toast in that piece, that he was done.
At some point in the future.
At some point, yeah. And then said, whether that's this year or 2 years from now. I was like, oh, good. We're really going out on a limb.
He is toast. At some point, Derrick Henry will stop gaining yards.
At some point, Derrick Henry will not be playing football anymore. That is what was thrown out there.
I bet you they're going to be right.
I bet you they're going to be right about that, too. Bill Barnwell from ESPN has also put out a piece, and this is not just Derrick Henry focused. Alvin Kamara is a part of this. Christian McCaffrey a part of this as well. Ezekiel Elliott. But Derrick Henry is mentioned in terms of running backs that could be on the decline. And Barnwell points out a couple of different things. Says after 378 carries in 2020, he had a staggering 219 carries before his injury. And on a run-by-run basis, after looking like a force of nature in 2019 and 2020, he was ordinary. This coming from Bill Barnwell. And he goes through a bunch of different stats here. A couple of interesting ones. I mean, we know the basic stats of yards per carry. He was at 5.1 in 2019, 5.4 in 2020, down to 4.3 last year. That's a pretty significant drop.
Yes, it is.
In yards per carry.
I like those traditional stats.
Yeah.
Rather than like
what I'm about to get into?
Yeah, probably. Go ahead.
So there's the rush yards over expectation, which is basically a next-gen stat that the NFL has thrown out there. And basically, he was elite in that category in 19 and 20 at 1.1, whatever that means. He was at 0.1 in 2021, which put him right around league average. First downs over expectations at 11 in 2019, 10 in 2020, -4 in 2021. So all of these stats pointing to a significant drop-off last year with Derrick Henry. So we now have the Football Outsiders piece and the piece here on ESPN.com by Bill Barnwell basically saying Derrick Henry's in a decline right now in his career. Is this going to be what this offseason is? And how much do these numbers concern you if you're John Robinson and the Tennessee Titans that have been thrown out there?
I don't know. If I'm Vrabel, I'm texting all these articles at Derrick right now, You may be mad at him for not being here, but by golly, you can make him mad and keep sending these articles.
While you're doing push-ups and putting holes in tile on the ground from your arms, read these.
Yeah, check this out. Did you think that Derrick Henry, as you watched him last year before he got hurt, did you think we were seeing a diminishing running back?
I really didn't.
I didn't either.
Look, he's still. We've talked about the Buffalo game. He changed that game. Like to me, he was still a really good player last year.
He changed that game.
I mean, you can go through it. He was really, really good. Now, I mean, the yards per carry, it is what it is. That's a pretty big drop-off from 5.1 to 4.3.
There's also a lot of things that go into running the football, including your offensive line play, which I'm very confident in saying took a huge step back last year. Also, different OC last year.
Yeah.
Oh, there were a lot of – and the passing game wasn't as good. Like, all of it wasn't as good. I think some of this is circumstantial and is not Derrick Henry. But I think the missed and broken tackles, the runs over expectations, that's kind of like goalie stat, right? It's like, okay, whatever your save percentage is, but like it kind of that tells you a little bit more about the conditions around the goalie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not dismissing all these numbers. There's probably something to them, but anybody who watched Derrick Henry play last year, I don't think I did not detect anything but just a monster who was completely loaded up on by defenses week after week and an offensive line that really struggled at times.
Now, I will say, I'm worried about that continuing this year.
Yeah.
Because you've lost Roger Saffold, and, who knows what the replacement of left guard is going to be, whether that's Aaron Brewer or Jamarco Jones or Dylan Radins, whoever they plug in there at left guard. And the other part of this is you don't have A.J. Brown now. And you've got a passing game at the moment consisting of Robert Woods and Traylon Burks and Austin Hooper. And that may very well turn out to be a really good passing attack. I don't know. But I'd feel a whole lot better if number 11 was out there if I was Derrick Henry. So if you're a defense right now, there's no question who you're trying to stop. It's Derrick Henry. And that's nothing new for Derrick Henry and the Titans.
But it's easier without
are
A.J.
they
Brown.
Equipped to handle that as well as they were in the past? In the past, contrary to popular belief, Ryan Tannehill was able to use some nice play-action passes to his advantage and throw the ball down the field, and it worked quite well for the Titans at times. As you look at this offense right now with Derrick Henry, I think it could be harder to generate yardage this year.
I agree. And so the offensive line, major questions. You don't have that guy outside right now. I mean, Robert Woods, again, I really like him. I really like him as a 2. He's not scaring anybody. He's a good player. Traylon Burks, we'll see. But, realistically, as a rookie, you think he's going to come in here and light the world up like he's still at Arkansas playing against Mississippi State? I don't think so. You hope so. You hope you catch lightning in a bottle like you did with A.J. Brown as a rookie. But there's a lot of factors that tell me that Derrick Henry is going to get successfully stacked against and that they're going to really struggle to move the ball and score points like they have. I think the overall step backward on offense is easy to see right now.
Let's go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in Adam from Portland. Adam, thanks for calling in to Robby and Rexrode.
Man, so you guys are professionals at what you do. Maybe you could help me understand. Why do I feel that this burning need to defend Derrick Henry? I have an obligation to pick up my phone and call you guys, and just I hate it. I hate somebody saying he's on the decline. It really bothers me because, this guy for the first 9 weeks or whatever that was the only player we had on offense that was consistent, and you knew it was going to show up every day, working. You could tell, the offense had clearly declined. You've been talking about it. The tight end situation, that was gross neglect this year. Our wide receivers, who everybody was excited about. I think my season ticket rep said that they sold 400% of tickets the day we signed Julio.
Yeah.
What a awesome signing for us, right? And it was all on Derrick Henry before it was over. And then week 9, he gives us his foot. And then you're going to talk about his decline. It's so ridiculous to me. And the quarterback, the turnover-prone quarterback, it was so crazy to hear somebody say he's on the decline. So I don't know why. Maybe it's something personal with me, but I just think it's foolish to think he's going to step back. He's a robot, so at some point he's going to get older and start to slow down a little. But I don't see it yet, man. Not just yet.
Hey, thanks for the call, Adam. That was very generous of Adam to call us professionals. It's not a term that's commonly used here on this program.
Yeah, use it loosely.
Just bronies.
Oh boy.
Hey, we've gone almost 2 hours without talking about. I knew you were going to bring up bronies again today. Some of these things just need to die. The bronies need to die.
One of those things.
I don't mean the actual bronies need to die. Don't get me wrong.
Oh boy.
Those guys, go do your thing, man. Go do your thing. Yeah, no, Adam, I agree with you. Look, like I said, watching him, he was incredible last year. So, but remember, first of all, some of these numbers, these are metrics that can tell you something. I think there's some value in them, and a yard less per carry is big.
It's a big deal.
That's a big deal. Again, I think it's a lot more conditions around him with that stat, and a lot of things went the wrong way last year. Starting from week 1, where you're letting your quarterback just get obliterated, play after play, you're turning it over, and you just got absolutely crushed up front.
Who came back in the game that day?
What Taylor Lewan?
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. I had a funny one for that too, and I forgot it. Gosh darn it. Derrick Henry has been blocked for all day. Here we go. No. But no, I agree that Derrick as a player. But you got to remember too, with all this stuff, this is also just the expectation with running backs, right? I mean, people who cover the NFL are just assume that every running back has like a 3-year arc, and then they're toast. So, there's that.
That's why if
too.
Derrick Henry comes out and has a big year this year, he might be a lock for the Hall of Fame because people will be like, "Oh my gosh, he's still playing football at that high of a level? My goodness!"
Right.
In today's NFL.
Yeah, no, I mean it's just totally against convention that you would have a running back, have it and have what he's done to date. So look, I personally expect Derrick Henry to come out and look just like Derrick Henry this year. At some point, that's going to change. The hard part for him is what we've been talking about. The Titans are making things around him are a lot worse now. They just are. So you got all these things that you hope you can hit. You hope that you get a good left guard in there. You're not going to have Roger Saffold. Roger Saffold was right. Boy, that was a good tandem. You hope right tackle gets figured out. You hope receiver gets figured out. You hope Tannehill plays well. Because if all those things aren't checked, it's just going to be just that much tougher on him.
Matt in Nashville on the text line says, those are all season average stats. I feel like Henry has always been a bigger factor in the second half of the season when players are tired and the weather gets colder.
Yep.
Seems like those numbers would naturally be lower than when he missed the most productive part of his season. This is coming from Matt from Nashville.
No, that's a good point for sure. I mean, you look at now. I think in 2019 there was a lot going on, including the offensive line was a mess early, and Lawan wasn't there the first 4 weeks. All that stuff. And then Mariota, and they switched. Tannehill's emergence helped Derrick Henry a ton. But I also think it was that too. Tired defenses. Some of these teams aren't playing for anything in December. You really want to get in there and take him on with that knee in your face, I mean, so I think that there's something to that too, that he's had his best stuff in December in his career for the most part.
Well, the bottom line is, I know this. Seattle game, that was vintage Derrick Henry. Buffalo game, that was vintage Derrick Henry.
Right.
I mean, there were moments throughout the season last year where he was absolutely the difference maker.
Well, he was their best player.
He was their best player.
He was their best player last year. Don't get it mixed up at all. He was their best player, period. And he's going to have to be – I mean, if that offense is going to work this year, he's going to have a huge year. I don't see another way to this offense even being like above average in the NFL this year.
Coming up next, it is time for the Rex Rant. Joe Rexrode's rant of the day. 615-737-1025. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
At some point, it's a combination of who did you play and what does your skill set look like.
Get the best analysis of the big stories in the sports world with ESPN's Jason Fitz.
If you reach for a quarterback in the draft because you need one, you're going to set your franchise back 5 years.
Join Fitzy every Wednesday at 4:30. Presented by Blood Assurance. Jason Fitz.
I am 5'9.5".
On ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Hillside Medical Clinic. Is erectile dysfunction damaging your relationship? Are you sick of the pill and all the side effects? Well, welcome to the future. We have a major medical breakthrough. Hillside Medical Clinic uses the most advanced form of wave therapy. Backed by 60 clinical studies, our technology uses pressure waves to repair and open up blood vessels. We've helped countless men get rid of their ED. But what is the true end result? Their relationship, even their lives, improve drastically. If you're ready to regain your love life, call us right now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also give you a gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. It almost never fails. This is worth $550, and it's free to callers right now. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and experience what I call the happiness ripple effect. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now, 615-576-5000.
You purchased a fine European automobile because of the amazing drivability and great looks. Then someone slid into you during a rainstorm. European Collision Repair is Nashville's premier location for collision repairs. Their state-of-the-art facility is certified by 30 vehicle manufacturers. The best part is their customer service, and they can provide an estimate simply by you sending in a photo of your damage. If you have a fine European automobile, have the repairs done at European Collision Repair. Go to EuropeanCollisionRepair.com.
Hey, Robby Stanley here to tell you the NBA playoffs are heating up, and you can make every game feel like Game 7 on FanDuel Sportsbook, an official partner of the NBA. Throughout the playoffs, all customers can place a no-sweat same-game parlay each week. You'll get up to $20 in free bets if you don't win. FanDuel has so many different ways to play, and best of all, when you do win, you'll get paid faster than a fast break. I've told you about my Miami Heat. I think they take down the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Final. Give me Bam Adebayo over on points as well, but you take it any way you want to take it. If you're new to FanDuel, just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Sign up with promo code ROB to get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. Once again, that promo code is ROB. And if you already have an account, you're all set to bet. Either way, you get up to $20 in free bets if your same-game parlay during the playoffs doesn't win. FanDuel Sportsbook, an official partner of the NBA. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Refund issued is non-withdrawable free bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max free bet of $20 per week. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Got a gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Darren McFarland.
That should get you in the mood for a game tonight.
Willie Donick.
I think between 5.5 and 6 is probably in the ballpark.
Chase McCabe.
Typically, I like to take the most difficult task and do it first.
Darren, Donick, and Chase have you covered weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app. The time is now for the Rex Rant.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
On Robby and Rexrode, here on ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
About My Little Pony, friendship is magic.
And it is that time of the day, time for the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game. And potentially Joe Rexrode's biggest regret ever, bringing up My Little Pony here on the program.
Is that a
modernized version?
Yeah, modernized version of the song.
I think so.
Upbeat. I don't remember that.
Just trying to make you hip.
Yeah. Well, if I can find a Brotherhood of Bronies meeting soon, and yeah. What's the other one? Fuzzies?
My buddy?
Furries.
No, furries. Yeah, well, no, it's like adults who dress up like like My Little Pony or other stuffed animals and stuff. I mean, I would dress up as Snuffleupagus. Snuffleupagus? Is it awesome? And let's talk Sesame Street. Now, that's my jam.
Let's really get in there.
Yeah. All right. No, I just this is quick, but again, and it's a common theme. We've talked about it before, but again, it happens. I think it needs to be called out. I think it needs to be called out when it happens.
Okay.
And you know what? I don't know exactly if it happened, but if it didn't, then this is where the professional who created this situation needs to go ahead and be professional. Ian Rappaport. So here's his tweet from yesterday about Jadeveon Clowney. Clowney wanted to be back in Cleveland. For those who don't know, Jadeveon Clowney, Titans legend, has re-signed for a year. And what do we know the terms of this deal?
I think it's up to $11 million.
Yeah. So it's incentives bring it to 11. Okay. Fine. So base is probably I need to find this. This is actually an important part of this discussion. So base probably 8 or 9, right?
I would assume.
Yeah. So a deal up to, which is good. I mean, if I was signing Jadeveon Clowney to a deal, I would sign him to an incentive loaded deal. Because he obviously, worth up to 11. Yeah. Okay, fine. So that's also your agent making sure that we talk about, now USA Today reports a 1-year contract worth up to $10 million with incentives. He's probably going to make about $8 or $9 million. Which is a lot, that's that's about right. But I mean, the guy had 9 sacks last year.
He was good.
He had a good year. Okay, so good for him. Gets another deal. But this is what Ian Rappaport tweets. Clowney wanted to be back in Cleveland. How badly? He turned down $14 to $15 million a year offers from other teams on multi-year deals to go back.
Mm-hmm.
So according to Ian Rappaport, reporting this as fact, Jadeveon Clowney had multi-year deals. So let's just say it's 2. I mean, you could take that as 5. How about 5 for 65? Huh?
Yeah.
Oh no, 5 for 75. That's good math right there on the fly. How about 5 for 75, Jadeveon? Come on, let's go. No.
No.
I would rather sign with Cleveland for $8 million, incentives up to 10 or 11 or so. I love Cleveland so much. I love the Browns so much. I love that 8-9 season so much. Lake Erie is, I just swim in it all the time. It's amazing. No, I got to be back in Cleveland. Thanks, though. Thanks for the multi-year offers of $14 to $15 a year. I'm good. I'm going back to Cleveland. This is irresponsible, Ian Rappaport. And usually we rip on your buddy Adam Schefter, but this is an agent telling you this. Fine. So you either tell us the teams, you show the receipts there, or you attribute it because you cannot write that as fact. No one believes it, and you look stupid. So please be better, okay? You work hard. You break news. It's fine. You have a lot of sources in the league. Agents tell you things. Agents want things out there. We understand how the game works. Don't write things as fact that we all know are complete BS.
We know that Jadeveon Clowney was really fired up. You know what?
Yeah.
I don't need the money. Just really love being in Cleveland.
I mean, 2 years for 30 sounds good.
Sounds good.
But, man, when I put on that doo-doo brown uniform, I don't know why. I don't even know why
Run
I'm
it
turning
back. Run it back.
Like, I don't even hate the Browns. I'm turning this into a Rip the Browns session. I don't hate the Browns, but it's just so stupid. Like, please. Like, and the thing is, it's what you feel sometimes is that stuff like that or some of the stuff Schefter puts out, it's like, okay, like you owe me a solid, man. Come on.
Yeah.
You know, when it's that transactional, it's hard to respect it sometimes. So be better.
It's interesting to me how this. First off, Clowney is the master of the 1-year deal, incentive-laden contract. This has got to be like 4 or 5 years in a row with him coming in on a 1-year deal somewhere. It's amazing.
Well, no one trusts that he's going to stay healthy, which I understand. And but people are still intrigued by him. And again, I mean, it turned out to be a good signing for the Browns last year. And even with that, he gets a 1-year deal, about $8-9 million. I mean, that's what he is right now.
But if you're him, like if you really got multi-year offers from other teams, would you not jump at that and finally be like, okay, finally, like I don't have to go through this again?
I mean, I suppose if it's like just the Jags or something, okay,
Hey.
Then maybe you bet. Although the culture has really changed.
Culture's
down there,
changed. Weather's nice down there. Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, but again, multiple teams, multi-year deals, 14-15 per. Really? Is that so?
It's just so asinine.
Again, it's just sure. Just report it as fact. Sounds good.
You saying it so?
It's very frustrating.
It's not his fault either. We can't get mad at Clowney. This is not. He's still Joe's Clowney to you. And to Heidi from Dixon on the text
That's
line.
right. He will always be my Clowney. My little Clowney.
DJ Burnside, do your work.
Yes.
I hope he heard that and is now making an incredible graphic.
Oh, man. Good God. What have I done? I've stepped in it again.
You kind of love it, though, Joe.
I really don't love illustrations in which I'm a brony. I promise you, I actually don't love those.
Look, Schefter and Rappaport, those type guys, it's been an interesting year to like follow that because the Schefter stuff with Derrick Henry about, he's out for a year. Like, okay, whatever, man. And he wasn't out for the year. Like, we all knew that was going to be the case anyway.
Well, we knew from the start it was premature to try to
say
report
that he's out for the year.
And yet why? Why did he do that?
I understand that these people have to get their information from somewhere, and the agents a lot of times are where they're getting their information. But don't you have to, like, at least try to do some legwork outside of just what the agent tells you? It seems like too often with those guys, they just say, okay, I'm going with it. Whatever you tell me is fine.
Well, I think personnel people, some talk to them as well, you know. But yeah, it's agent driven for sure. And yeah, that's the thing. Yes. You know, if you're trying to break news across a whole league and you're competing with each other, then hey, that means you're on the phone all the time, right? But I mean, this is one of those where you're like no one's gonna believe that, dude. And if you were told that, then I hope you then said, okay, which teams? Come on, man. But you you decided to report it as fact. And I understand it's one tweet, but it really is lame. You know? Like, how stupid do you think people are? And again, if there is something to it, if it's true, let's find out how stupid some GMs are. Yes. Which ones? I need to know.
Let's also find out how stupid Jadeveon Clowney is for accepting the deal from Cleveland, if that's true.
There's a whole bunch of stupid.
Yeah. Big E on the text line says, love that rant. Rappaport got clowned with a nice clown emoji after that. See what you did there, Big E. It's good stuff.
For some reason, I'm going back to bronies. Please get it out of my brain.
We'll continue to take your thoughts. 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Coming up next, we'll be joined by Corey Curtis from News 2. We'll get his thoughts on the Titans. This is Robby and Rexrode. You're on ESPN 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
The voice of reason.
274 yards, 2 interceptions, 0 touchdowns. You're not going to win a game that way.
The voice of the fan.
I'm tired of let's just give it to a quarterback.
The voice of Nashville sports is your home of Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Winning this award is truly like winning the Super Bowl of car dealer awards for Mercedes-Benz.
Edwin Vickery, General Manager of Mercedes-Benz of Music City.
Culture eats strategy for lunch. You have to hit on all cylinders to win this award. You can strategize all you want. You got to still have the right tools, and our tools are our people.
Live the dream with 3-time Mercedes-Benz Best of the Best award winner, Mercedes-Benz of Music City. Go to mbofmc.com.
Hey, it's Jared for TriStar Moving. If you're looking to move, you need to give my friends at TriStar Moving a call. At TriStar Moving, you'll get 5-star service throughout the entire process. Everything will be taken care of, from covering your floors, banisters, railings, front door thresholds, furniture, TVs, and more. They took great care of my move and made it as stress-free as possible. If you're looking to move, give TriStar Moving a call, 615-640-1219, or visit them at nashvillemoving.org/radio and get 5% off your entire move. TriStar Moving, my official movers.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good, really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless, now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good, really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless, now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dashboard light problems? We can help. Our free Fix Finder service can read your check engine light, ABS light, and service indicator light, and give you possible solutions, verified by licensed technicians. You'll even get detailed results sent straight to your email so you have them when you need it most. It's the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes. The free Fix Finder service, only at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
More details at AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $69.99. You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, broadcasting 97.5 Murfreesboro, 106.3 Williamson County,
ESPN
102.5 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell media station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun!
On your morning drive, this is Robby and Rexrode. With Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen,
it's showtime.
Welcome back in, hour number 3 of Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Monday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. And as we do every Monday morning at 8 o'clock, we go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in our friend Corey Curtis from News 2. Corey, how's it going? What's going on?
You know you're old when you throw your back out getting out of the car.
Oh, boy. That's not good.
But no, I'm old.
I can relate, but you actually exercise, so.
And I'm actually old.
Well, Rexrode's kind of old, too.
I mean, yeah.
I've got
Appreciate
it.
that.
I'm the old man in the sea here.
Well, Corey, hope your back gets to feeling better. We appreciate you sacrificing anyway and making sure you join us this morning on the program. It's dedication.
Team player, I'll gut through.
That's right. So, Corey, we've talked about this the last few days. There's an article from Football Outsiders talking about Derrick Henry possibly on the decline. ESPN.com and Bill Barnwell's put one out there as well. And, we could go through the different stats of yards per carry or, rush yards over expected, anything you want to throw out there. How concerned are you, Corey Curtis, about a potential decline coming this year from Derrick Henry?
Well, I mean, I just think it's a matter of fact, and it's just a matter. I think the bit more concern is how dramatic is the decline? Because guys get older, they don't get younger, and does he lose that quarter of a step that he takes the 30-yard run or the 20-yard run and makes it a 70 or an 80-yard run? Because I think that's really the big difference there is his game-breaking ability. And is he still running away from DBs? Is he still running away from linebackers? Because if he does that, he's still really, really special. I mean, look, he could still be an effective running back at 6'4", 245 pounds, banging away. But it's those 5, 6, 7, 8 runs a year that he just explodes for, that break games open, that are really, really special. So, I mean, he's had a lot of carries. We all know he's had a lot of carries, and they do add up no matter how superhuman people think he is. I'm not concerned about a dramatic drop off, but I want to see if that burst is still there to go 80. I think that's my biggest concern.
Yeah, it's interesting because I don't know what you feel about the various metrics. I think some of these things are effective. I mean, I think they help tell the story. Like the tackles missed and broken stat for him went way down. Yards per carry goes down a yard. So, but I also thought Corey, like watching him last year, he looked like Derrick Henry to me. Looked like the best football player to me, and I thought that he was just dealing with an offense that regressed in a lot of different ways around him before he got hurt. So. Yeah, I mean,
I think that there's some truth to that, Joe. I mean, we all say they were more predictable on offense. We all say their offensive line didn't perform at quite the level that it had for him in the past. Now, that goes into the missed tackles, the broken tackles, right? Being able to make up, for that. But I do think, he was coming off a 2,000-yard season, and then also, wasn't he on pace to have more carries last year than he was during the 2,000-yard season?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. I mean, and just by sheer volume, and I'm going to invoke the law of numbers here, you're going to have more runs that come down because, you just so many chances. And so I think that's some of it.
So looking at that offense, we've been talking today about, more that they can do. I mean, you look at receiver, I mean, it's not, to me, it's not a great situation. and you're counting on quite a bit. You're counting on some young guys, including your rookie, to really make quick progress. But then the offensive line, I still have concerns for sure. 2 spots we don't even know who may start. Do you think that they should try at one or both spots to go find someone on the veteran free agent market?
Well, I guess that's the question of, do they think they've already done that with Jamarco Jones? Do they think that that's the veteran that they're going to bring in? And, that's maybe what OTAs and minicamp are for, to see what they've got and to see, hey, I think we need to bring in another guy for camp. And how many guys do we see get brought in a week or 2 weeks into camp? It happens. And so, and if you look at the top 100 free agents that are still out there, there's a lot of guys over 30. Okay. And so there's a lot of those guys out there that wait for the right opportunity in camp. So I don't think it's anything that they have to panic on and do right now on the offensive line. I think, give those young guys are going to be given the opportunity to prove that they can do it and that they can be the guy. And the team needs them to be the guys, not just performance, but for the salary cap as well. They need those guys to be the guys. But I don't think they have to panic and go out and get somebody, because I think, there will be some of those guys there when camp gets here.
Corey Curtis from News 2 on with us here on Robby and Rexrode. Corey, David Poile and John Hines addressing the media last week for about 45 minutes in their season-ending press conference. Anything in particular stand out to you when it comes to Poile and Hines and the way that they kind of handled things last week?
Well, first off, in the old days, 45 minutes would have gotten us through Poile and Trotz's opening statement.
That is true.
So that's progress. That's progress. Look, I understand that this is a very polarizing position. I am one who I look at it differently than people. I thought when Hines took over, he took over 747 pointed nose down with the earth coming in at 500 miles per hour. I mean, they were getting so bad so fast, and I think he pulled them out of that and has them playing hard. I think they have a clear direction. They've gotten younger. They've gotten bigger. They've got a power play that scores goals now. He's getting the most out of his best players. I understand they finished 8th. I understand they lost to an awesome Colorado team. But I also understand, the progress that they've made. Now, if that's not good enough for people, I get it. Okay, that's fine. It's the whole Mike Mularkey conversation. Mike Mularkey did a good job for the Titans, but if you think that Mike Vrabel's the guy to take you to the Super Bowl, then that's who you go get. So if you're a fan and you think there's somebody else better out there, then I guess you should want him. As for Poile, I mean, he clearly has heard the criticism, and he came out right up front and addressed the plan and what they're doing, and I agree with him. He's made big decisions, and clearly has the team pointed in a direction. If you don't like that direction, if you don't trust his direction after 20 years and not winning the Cup, I get that. But I don't think they hid from the issue. I don't understand the outrage of giving Hines one more year, like a 2-year deal instead of a 1-year deal. I think on paper that's job security, but in real life is that job security? No, it's not. Okay? I mean, next year, whether he had 1 year on his deal or 2 years on his deal, next year's a big year for John Hines. There's no question about that. And so we'll see. So I think that there's still there's a lot of hurt feelings and a lot of people, just a lot of disappointment over the way that thing ended. And I think, they deserve some of the credit because they raised expectations. And so I think I'm in the contrarian camp on this one, and I'm fine. I'm fine with the way they handled it, and I'm just interested to see how they handle the offseason.
See, I would actually say you're not in the contrarian camp on Hines. I think, but then again, I did an online poll.
Yeah, I've seen
it was
the poll.
60-40 against. So
yeah.
Right? Yeah, 60-40 against.
60-40 against.
Which is because I'm completely on the same page with you, Corey, on him. Again, it's like separate the two. And if you don't think that Poile has built a very good team, then so what was expected? And I think you hit on the key point, the trajectory of where things were going when he came in, and the job required to get it turned the other way. But I guess
they were so soft. I mean, they were a down pillow when he took over. We used to laugh. We would watch them and laugh. They were so bad when he took over. I mean, they didn't battle on the walls at all. There was nobody on the team who could drop the gloves and go at it. I mean, they were bad, and it happened fast. And I don't understand the denial about how bad they had gotten. You know, just because they played Arizona in that whatever tournament, they weren't a team good enough to. They just happened to be there.
So, meanwhile, Forsberg, to me, it's still – I understand. I guess it's like you lose him and then you just have that much more space to go do things. But what if they don't sign Forsberg? You talk about reaction to Poyle right now. What will it be then?
Well, that's a big miss. That's a big miss because what's the whole George Bush? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Well,
can't get fooled again.
Don't get fooled again.
That's right.
That's right. You don't get fooled again. And this would be getting fooled the second time. Look, he's been doing this a long time, and if he thinks Philip Forsberg is coming back, then I would trust that he's probably coming back. Forsberg didn't say anything to me that says he doesn't want to be back. I mean, when I was here for Ryan Suter, Robby, you were here for Ryan Suter, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah. And whenever we would ask him about it, he would not elaborate. He would evade the situation. It was pretty clear to me that Poyle was looking at that with Pred-colored glasses on and thinking that he was going to come back because we all thought he's not coming back. And so, but with Philip, I feel like, he wants to come back. He just needs the numbers to be right. But if he doesn't come back and if he lets him walk out of town and not get anything when he could have gotten clearly something for him, that would be a huge, huge miss. I mean, that would be a black mark on the resume for sure.
Corey Curtis from News 2 on with us here, presented by Smokeville Smoke Shop. Corey, last thing for you here. What did you think of the Nick Saban / Jimbo Fisher feud the other day? It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life.
That might be my best sports moment of the last 5 years. That was unbelievable. That was such an epic takedown. That was like, Hulk Hogan in the middle of the ring on the microphone, going around, and Roddy Piper coming from behind with the steel chair and just blammo, just taking him down. It was spectacular. Because I mean, look, do I think Jimbo Fisher's a saint? No, I don't. Do I think any of them are saints? No, I don't. Look, all Nick Saban is doing is trying to grab himself a piece of moral high ground for when we all find out that every Alabama player is making $2 million a year. To say, I was forced into it, I had to do it. I finished second in recruiting one year. I wasn't number one by a landslide, and you made me do it. You made me do it. I hate to do it, but you made me do it.
And by the way, Bama fans, please support our collective.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. That is all that hyperbole is all about. Is trying to grab a piece of moral high ground and saying you didn't want to do this. Now, the other consideration is for people like Saban and for the school like Alabama, how much money are they losing that is now going to go straight to the players instead of to the university and to the alumni funds and those sorts of things that go towards facilities and running the program? I mean, because, if you're talking about, let's say every Alabama player averages $1 million a year, and I don't think that that's impossible to think. That's $85 million. That's $85 million a year that wouldn't go into the alumni fund and into the university fund for running the football program. That's a big loss to the budget. So I could see where there's some concerns there for him because, by the way, that's where Nick Saban's $10 million a year comes from as well. I think that's where coaches are angry as well, is they haven't had to share the money. They've just taken all the profits. And so now they're actually having to share the money. So I'm all for the players getting every dime they can. Absolutely. I'm all for all the epic takedowns of Nick Saban that I can get. And I just love the fact that he called a press conference and 30 minutes later just went off. We need way more of that. And by the way, the public reprimand from the SEC was laughable. I equated that to double secret probation from Dean Wormer.
Nice. Nice.
I mean, come on. I mean, even if you find them $50,000 each, they make like $10 million a year. I mean, it's nothing. I mean, it's comical. It's comical. I think we're in this era of hyperinflation. I don't think the fines have caught up to hyperinflation yet. Back when Tennessee got fined, what was that, $250,000 for the Heinz mustard bottle on the field? I figured out what the football budget was, or the athletic budget was for the year, and it equated to basically if you had $10,000 being fined a nickel. That's how little that $250,000 fine was for Tennessee. So, look, they don't even get fined. They just get told to stop it, which just tells me call another press conference because that got us headlines everywhere.
It was amazing. Corey, great stuff as always. Thanks for taking time to join us this morning, and hope your back feels better.
Only one thing will help me, and that's euthanization.
That's right. Good gracious. Corey, great stuff as always, man. Appreciate you.
Talk to you guys later.
Corey Curtis from News 2, our guest, presented by Smokeville Smoke Shop. We'll come back. We'll take your thoughts. 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
If you're on the road between downtown Nashville,
they're still in good shape to make the playoffs,
and I-840,
players make it clear they don't want to be somewhere anymore.
There's a new way to hear all your favorite shows and sports programming on 102.5 The Game.
I go back to that play and I shake my head.
What I was worried about is that they were still just going to keep the goal.
It's 106.3 FM.
Think about all the good Titans teams. This is very much so a run-first offense.
Now you have two choices to hear Nashville's best sports talk. Check out 106.3 now and add it as a favorite.
If you're driving less, you could be saving more on car insurance. Save money with pay-per-mile insurance from Allstate. Call a local Allstate agent and get a quote.
Men, what if I told you that now you're able to get testosterone replacement therapy in the comfort of your own home? No more weekly trips to the doctor's office. We come to you 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. Be seen by a licensed medical professional in the privacy and comfort of your own home or office. You decide. Schedule your appointment today at CoolSpringsMDformen.com.
There are jewelry stores, and then there's Genesis Diamonds, the cutting-edge industry leader, the pioneer. It's no secret that jewelry stores across America watch what Genesis is doing. Genesis was the first to offer a free lifetime warranty, the first to offer a 110% diamond upgrade guarantee, the first to offer aggressive long-term zero-interest financing. And Genesis is always on the cutting edge in design and fashion. The styles other jewelers say are new and exciting were new and exciting for us 4 years ago. Genesis has the fashion-forward brands other stores aren't even allowed to carry. It's no wonder you see jewelers from other cities coming to Genesis to see what we're all about, and even buy their wives' jewelry from us. For selection, quality, service, warranties, and guarantees, Genesis leads. Others follow. So for diamonds, engagement rings, exclusive designer jewelry for any occasion, don't compromise. Come to the jeweler that sets the industry standards year after year. Genesis Diamonds and pre-owned Rolexes, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
You know what's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway. Now here's Jim Mitchell.
Our fleet vehicle program is a great benefit to all the fleet companies in Nashville. We are able to get their vehicle back on the road a lot quicker than the downtime of most dealers and most general repair shops, simply because we have the transmissions available. We're able to put priority on their vehicles to get them back on the road quickly.
You know what's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway.
What if you could be debt-free in 3 weeks? Hey, Willie Donick here. My friends at Loan Pronto are helping people do it every day. It's Loan Pronto's Debt Consolidation Home Refi, wiping out tens of thousands in credit card debt. Listen, your home's value is way up. You can refinance now, take money out to pay off all your credit cards, eliminate PMI charges, pay off personal loans, or other high-interest debt. One local couple had over $50,000 in credit card debt. Loan Pronto did a debt consolidation refi, And even though their mortgage rate went up a tad, they cut their monthly payments by $900. Why pay 20% interest when you can consolidate it to one low payment with a mortgage APR in the 3s? Homeowners who do it save an average of $800 a month. Do it now and even skip your next house payment altogether. That's what I call financial freedom. Call Loan Pronto now. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Well, you've got the whole world listening. What do you got to say? Never miss a moment of the show. Subscribe to the Robby and Rexrode podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. We may now begin our day. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode. You're on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game Studio here with you on this Monday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Thanks to Corey Curtis for joining us in the last segment, brought to you by Smokeville Smoke Shop. As always, we're taking your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. It was the public reprimand from the SEC, which is basically George Sankey. Good gracious. Greg Sankey. I don't know who George Sankey is. Greg Sankey.
Older brother.
Telling Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher, hey, guys, stop that stuff.
Yeah. Cut it out.
Don't you, like, if you're the SEC, if you gave them some truth serum, don't they kind of love it? You just dominated some headlines in May.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you
got
to
A&M Alabama game when it happens is going to be awesome.
Yeah. I mean, you got to say, come on, guys, let's not do this stuff. Make sure it's on the record that it's not okay, and then you're kind of cackling, to yourself like, oh, boy. I mean, I've got to see that game.
It's going to be awesome.
I wanted to watch it anyway, but, the casual observer who may not have cared about that game now has to see that game.
Well, I will care more about the pregame handshake between coaches than I ever have before with Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah. Yes. Will it be, will Saban keep reaching out? Will cooler heads prevail? I don't know. But, I mean, this brings up Jimbo again, like a lot of people. Nick Saban has friends. I don't think – he does. He does. Nick Saban doesn't, I don't think, have a ton of friends who worked for him. It's a very difficult thing, So Nick Saban, famous story about Nick Saban.
Okay.
Going to story time with Nick Saban. He was Michigan State's defensive coordinator in the 80s. They win the Rose Bowl. They beat USC and Rodney Peete like 17-13 or something like that.
Defensive struggle.
Everybody's celebrating after the game. Saban's like this young defensive coordinator, furious because of like one big play they gave up. Like that, that's – so then from there, he goes to Houston, and I think he's DB coach, and I think Floyd was linebackers coach. I think that's right. So those guys had good they were friends all through these years. Why? They were peers, right? Then when Saban starts becoming the boss of people, it's not as enjoyable, is my understanding. No. It's not enjoyable. So Jimbo may have just hated him all along anyway, and now he just has a chance to fire back, and he may have a chance to. He beat him last year.
He did.
He's got guys. He's got guys. I think I would favor Alabama to probably put one on him this year, but we'll see. All I know is, it was an all-timer, man.
It was. Let's go to the text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Going back to the Derrick Henry discussion, got a texter that says, people need to also remember that surgeries, training, and recovery for athletes today are leaps and bounds better than what they used to be. You can come back from an injury so much stronger than you used to be able to now. I'm not saying that's how for every player it's going to be, but in most cases that's how it goes. People need to stop saying that a player is in the decline after an injury before they even see them on the field for a real game. It's coming from a texter on the text line.
Now, some people would say back to you that you saw some decline in the playoff game. I didn't really think that. I thought he looked fine running the ball. He didn't have a big day, but I thought he looked fine, But, look, you already expect the running back to decline. It is a broken bone and a screw and everything in a foot, and you're talking about serious cutting for someone with a 6'3", 250-pound body. So it's not like it's just wild speculation to think that he might start going backward.
Well, the articles from Football Outsiders and from ESPN.com are not really as much focused on the injury as they are what was happening before the injury. They're going through stats, before he got hurt last year. So that's what the decline focuses on. I mean, obviously, we have to see what he looks like coming back from injury this year. That goes without saying. But I think the point of these articles they were pointing out some decline before the injury.
Yeah, there's already indications. Again, it doesn't match up to me with what I saw last year. I mean, before that game in Indianapolis, it was like, this guy's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But also weekly questions about the workload. So, real quick, Nate, did you see the SEC short, the same as Jimbo one? SEC short?
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah, man. During the commercial break. It's real good.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's very good. Yeah, it's the same. They do a little funny thing, but they did very well with this one. Yes.
Hey, I've seen the what's that comedian that does the Nick Saban every time, the Joey Molinaro or whatever.
Joey Molinaro, yeah. That's pretty good. And he has like Brian Kelly coming in there. Hey y'all, come on now.
I do declare.
I do declare. Y'all need to stop fighting now.
We're all one big happy family here.
That's right.
Love me some Brian Kelly.
Is it Joey? I want to make
sure.
I
even forgot that he was like. See, that's the other thing. The SEC West is so great. Kiffin, Leach. Think about this. Lane Kiffin and Mike Leach are like the quiet guys right now, and then there's Brian Kelly, Nick Saban, and Jimbo Fisher.
Guys,
amazing.
We need a segment where you all impersonate SEC football coaches.
Hey.
Trying to think.
July 20th.
That's what
I can do a little Saban. All right, relative
you gotta get
to
your hands going.
Relative to, I really like the media. All right,
relative to death.
There's but like the in-state coaches, like Clark Lee and Josh Heupel. I don't know. Those guys are chill.
They're tame.
Those guys are chill compared. Yeah, the SEC East is just chill. I mean, like Kirby.
Yeah.
Kirby is so boring. Did you see the Kirby quote, by the way?
No.
Oh, yeah. It was like, we're not going to start getting the business of buying players. Like,
okay, Kirby.
All right, Kirby. Okay.
All righty. We'll continue to take your thoughts on the text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Titans, Preds, everything on the table. Take it where you want to take it. That's up next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, The Game.
If you're on the road between downtown Nashville,
they're still in good shape to make the playoffs,
and I-840.
Players make it clear they don't want to be somewhere anymore.
There's a new way to hear all your favorite shows and sports programming on 102.5 The Game.
I go back to that play and I shake my head.
What I was worried about is that they were still just going to keep the goal.
It's 106.3 FM.
Think about all the good Titans teams. This is very much so a run-first offense.
Now you have two choices to hear Nashville's best sports talk. Check out 106.3 now and add it as a favorite.
If you're driving less, you could be saving more on car insurance. Save money with pay-per-mile insurance from Allstate. Call a local Allstate agent and get a quote.
Listen up, people. Your first bet with Caesar Sportsbook is risk-free, up to $1,100. Download the app and use promo code RADIOCZR and then place your first bet. If you win, congrats. But if not, you'll get your wager back as a free bet. Must be 21 and physically present in Tennessee. New users only. Bet amount of qualifying wager returned only if wager is settled as a loss. Paid as a single bet credit. Must be used within 14 days. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. Gambling problem? Call or text the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. Caesar Sportsbook. Download it.
Are you just riding through life, living, but not really living? If that sounds like you need to treat yourself to Cartronics, Nashville's premier one-stop shop for vehicle customization since 1982. Their team of install techs provide a 5-star experience from start to finish, ensuring your vehicle is the coolest ride on the block. From cars and trucks to boats, motorcycles, golf carts, and off-road vehicles, Cartronics specializes in personalizing your automotive experience. So visit their website at cartronics.audio and start living today.
Erectile dysfunction ruins sex, but it's more than that. It harms otherwise good relationships. It destroys marriages. It can cause depression and anxiety, and it can be extremely hard on a man's self-esteem. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic, and if you're suffering with ED, if it's affecting you, I want you to know that if you're like most men, we can treat it and get you back to the man you used to be. At the Tennessee Men's Clinic, we're ED experts. Our protocols have success rates as high as 90%. We've successfully treated thousands of men in the Music City, and we have a variety of treatment options and treatment combinations that could have you performing like you haven't in years. You could even last up to an hour and experience great sex again that is satisfying for both you and your partner. In treating your health, expertise matters, so make an appointment today. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. Call 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra. Results vary.
Something you probably do know. Progressive can not only offer you a great price when you bundle home and auto, they offer you round-the-clock protection. Something you probably don't know, the average garage door is made up of 1.3 millimeter aluminum panels. Something you probably do know, your neighbor likes to tinker with his dirt bike. Something you probably don't know, a runaway dirt bike can take out your garage door and a good portion of your car bumper. Bundle your home and auto with Progressive and get more than a great price. Get round-the-clock protection. Something you know for the things you don't know. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
It's the perfect season for a powerful business upgrade with Dell Technologies Summer Sale Event. Save up to 45% on secure PCs built for business with Windows 10 Pro. You'll also find great savings on Dell servers, monitors, docks, and other accessories to help boost productivity. Plus, enjoy free shipping on everything. Do more with modern devices and Windows 10 Pro. Call 877-ASK-DELL for a Dell Technologies advisor who can help you find the right tech. That's 877-ASK-DELL for business specials during Dell's Summer Sale Event.
Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN.
Welcome into the DDC.
Starting Company is delivered.
There's a new way to hear 102.5 The Game. Nashville's best sports talk on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24. You now have two choices to hear our great sports programming.
Get the extra point, no problem.
And the Nashville Predators.
He scores!
Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
Hey, this is Ryan Johansson. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Monday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. I got some tickets to give away. Kenny Chesney coming up at Nissan Stadium this Saturday. Be caller 5 at 615-737-1025. 615-737-1025. Call the number 5. We'll win a pair of tickets to see Kenny Chesney coming up at Nissan Stadium this Saturday. I've been to a Kenny Chesney concert before. It's pretty awesome. Beach balls flying around. It's good stuff.
What's up with the beach balls?
He's a big beach guy. I don't know. There's just a bunch of beach balls flying around, so I just kept hitting them.
Cool.
This is like 10 years ago.
That sounds fun.
It was
I'd like to check that out sometime. Sure.
You a big Kenny Chesney guy?
I don't
Two bare feet on the dashboard?
I don't have a problem with him.
That's good.
Keep an open mind.
Good East Tennessee guy, that Kenny Chesney. I got a text here on the text line that says Javon Curse was never comparable after the same injury that Derrick Henry had.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago. And it's a different position.
Yeah, I think to the point of the previous texter, I mean, things, medicine advances. And again, the ACL tear used to be pretty much, your career's done when I was a kid. And now it's like, see you in a few weeks. So that's changed a lot. Also, just individual surgeries can go poorly. They can still go poorly. I mean, you see that sometimes. You just don't quite get it right. It's not easy to be a surgeon, I imagine. I mean, not necessarily It's like one size fits all. I mean, it's a very difficult job. So sometimes, and obviously these guys, pro athletes, it's like what's the guy, Dr. Robert Anderson, right?
Yeah.
He's, you get like the best in the business, but you can still screw up surgery.
It's not easy to be a surgeon.
I'm just guessing. I mean, I assume.
Well, let's hope not. Right?
Some brilliant thoughts today, deep thoughts.
Great stuff
today on the show.
So let's say all this plays out, and Derrick Henry he's still good, but he's not the Derrick Henry that we've seen the last few years. Is this team a playoff team? Like, I feel like in order for them to be really good this year, like he's got to be back to that level. And if he's not, I'm just not convinced there's enough there on the offensive side of the ball where they're going to be able to score with some of these other teams. Now, I'll say this. You feel as good about their defense, I think, as most teams around the NFL would feel about their defense. But if Derrick Henry does decline this year, what does that mean in your mind for the Titans and their bottom line as they head into this year?
Yeah, it could be a real problem. I mean, especially if you go down the list. Tannehill struggles. Pass protection, again, struggles. Receivers aren't up to par. They totally miss A.J. Brown. I mean, it could be rough. It'd be rough on that side of the ball. That's a big year for Todd Downing. Tim Kelly's here and I already feel like, I don't know. I'm just sitting there watching from the side, but it feels to me like Kelly, I know that he was sold as like basically the same thing as Jim Schwartz on the other side, but I feel like there's more involvement with him. It just seems that way to me. Maybe that helps a lot, but yeah, there's a bad scenario with the offense for sure. Some things don't work out, and I do have I would probably agree. Like if Derrick Henry actually does decline, which again we have yet to I think see in terms of his performance, then yeah, you could really have a problem for sure over there. And either way, like you've got to have balance. You got to have balance to help the guy out. A.J. Brown helps a lot if you're a running back. He just does. And if you don't have any outside threats who make defenses concerned about putting their corners on an island with those guys, then it's that much easier to stop a good running back.
So the Hassan Haskins pick, obviously he was a good player at Michigan, and he's kind of a physical type runner as well. Do you think that there is a scenario where he gets a significant amount of work this year in terms of we have this conversation every year with Derrick Henry about the workload, and it feels like when he's in there and when he's available and healthy, they're just running Derrick Henry. That's what they're doing. And I could see the scenario this year if you're the Titans where you may be tempted to do that more than ever if he's healthy, because that may be by far the biggest weapon you have on your offense. What did you make of the Haskins pick from that standpoint? Did it tell you anything at all in terms of how they may be viewing Derrick Henry and his usage rate this year?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a great question. I mean, it could be that they really are resolved to weave him in and play the same style with a Henry play-alike, and maybe think in terms of, okay, now Derrick can still pound on a defense in the fourth quarter. They're still tired, but Hassan has helped tire them. And now, Derrick gets into like the low 20s in the fourth quarter rather than 28 to 30 carries in the fourth quarter, I think that question is going to be answered by Hassan Haskins. How good is he? How's he hold up when it's full contact? He's going to get a ton of work. That's another key. As much attention is going to be on Malik Willis and Traylon Burks. By the way, before I go on, hey, Nashville media, Traylon. It's not Traylon.
Yeah, I don't know where this Traylon stuff has come from.
Well, it's how it's spelled.
It's Traylon.
It's Traylon. They've tried to explain it to you. They've laid it out. He said it several times, and still we have people in this town who can't figure out it's Traylon. It's not Traylon.
I don't understand it. Anyway.
So now I'm going to keep a list of names of people who can't figure this out. Anyway, Burks, Willis, big storylines, but Hassan Haskins too. I mean, if he looks the part, then I think you do. I think you really have to consider, as much as the problem is then like you have your fourth series of the game, and it's a Hassan Haskins series. It goes nowhere. It's like, that should have been Derrick Henry series. What are you doing? Which, granted, I'm making fun of myself because I probably say exactly that, at the time. But I think it would be very helpful for them, for Derrick Henry, if Hassan Haskins was ready to come in and actually take a little bit of the workload. And then Dontrell Hilliard, I assume he's kind of designated to be the third down back. But
I would agree.
I wouldn't hate giving him a carry here or there.
Well, yeah. It can't be a tell, right, when he's coming in that you're just not handing the ball off to him. And look, he had some moments last year where he ran the ball really well. So I like the running back situation that they have as a whole. Hassan Haskins was a really good player in college. We'll see how he is. But, you got Derrick Henry and his behemoth self as the size that he's in. Haskins is 6'2", 220. Like, you've got a big backfield if you're the Titans.
Yeah.
They can punish people.
Yeah, no, it's the whole the theme of you don't want to tackle us continues. Jonnu Smith moves on, but I think Chikakonkwo could be a problem for people. A.J. Brown moves on. Traylon Burks, we'll see. A lot of things he's got to do well to come close to A.J. Brown, but he does seem like a guy who you're not going to enjoy tackling. Big physical team. That's the idea. Look, if the offensive line is figured out, then I think they could be pretty good on that side of the ball. But two spots that you have multiple names at two different spots for starting positions on an offensive line. That's usually not a great thing.
It's usually not great. And, look, I understand Roger Saffold was hurt a lot. And he also played through it a lot and was still very effective run blocking. How big is that drop-off? That's going to be interesting because those two together, Lewan and Saffold, run blocking on that side, it was at its best, it was as good as it got in the NFL. And it was really, really good. And I understand that Saffold is on the back nine of his career here, but how big of a drop-off is that going to be? And when we go back to the Derrick Henry decline conversation, how much does that factor in of you just don't have the same level of blocking in front of you that you just had?
Right. And again, if you don't – and then with the offensive line and everything that's involved, if your passing game can't be good, it's just a problem. It's a problem for Derrick Henry. It's finding balance is going to be – but this is also, again, Todd Downing, Tim Kelly.
Yeah. You got to figure it out.
You got to have a better year on that front also.
How quickly before people were screaming for Tim Kelly to be OC?
Well, remember last year.
We talked about this with Bowen last year.
We did, and it
never happened.
There was no screaming. But then it became, so how much of this should be Jim Schwartz's?
How much does Jim Schwartz deserve credit for all this?
So, yeah, that's the amazing thing. Think about, again, a year ago, it was like, God, is this defense going to be good, or are they just trash again? And now it's like, pooh, that defense, man, they're good. But how about that offense?
The 85 Bears out there this year for the Titans.
And a year ago, it was like, well, not a year ago, but as of whenever they traded for Julio, which was in, I think, early June, right?
Yeah.
Then it was like, oh, my God, the all-time Titans offense. And now it's just – so – a lot of these things that we're talking about right now could look silly in a few months. Keep that in mind.
But as Adam from Portland,
you got to like that about sports,
pointed out earlier, we are professionals on the show, and we'll adapt.
We are very, very professional.
Keith on the text line says, #analysis, referring to your thoughts on surgeons and their jobs being hard.
Am I wrong? I don't think so.
That surgeons have a difficult job. We'll continue to take your thoughts. 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. We'll get you caught up on a wild weekend in the world of sports coming up next. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Every Wednesday at 5, join us for Jared versus Joe as they debate all of the big topics in sports, presented by Parman Tractor and Equipment and Mayweather Boxing and Fitness on ESPN 102.5 The Game and The Game Nashville app.
This is Chef John from Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville. Inviting you to come join us for breakfast and lunch. We are offering some exciting new menu items. For breakfast, we have a smoked prime rib hash. Comes with a sunny side up egg, hominy, caramelized onions. It's a great start to your day. We are featuring a sourdough pancake made with a sourdough bread starter. It's a fun spin on the classic buttermilk pancake. As always, Kitchen Notes is serving biscuits all day. Come join us and create a memorable experience here at the Omni Hotel. Food is all about memories for us. We'd like you to start a new memory here at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Hotel.
Breakfast at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Nashville Hotel. Smokeville Smoke Shop has been serving Hendersonville and Metro Nashville since 2015 and is committed to providing high quality, hands-on, and personable customer service. Stop in the Smokeville Smoke Shops in Hendersonville, Gallatin, Hermitage, and Goodlettsville to try any of their wide selection of locally sourced products and selection of top nationwide brands including vapes, hookah, hand-blown glass, detox systems, e-juices, kratom products, leaf wraps, a dab bar at the Hendersonville location, and much more. Visit Smokeville Smoke Shops today.
Zines First is the official sign company for 102.5 The Game. Go to sfnash.com.
It's the perfect season for a powerful business upgrade with Dell Technologies Summer Sale Event. Save up to 45% on secure PCs built for business with Windows 10 Pro. You'll also find great savings on Dell servers, monitors, docks, and other accessories to help boost productivity, plus enjoy free shipping on everything. Take the lead with Windows 10 Pro devices. Call 877-ASK-DELL for a Dell Technologies advisor who can help you find the right tech. That's 877-ASK-DELL for business specials during Dell's Summer Sale Event.
Stop buying tickets without rewards and start getting more from the only ticketing company that rewards you for buying, Vivid Seats. Buy 10 tickets, the 11th is on us. That's like 10% back every time you buy. And with 100% buyer guarantee and over 100 million tickets sold, that's something to sing, laugh, cheer, scream, buy about. Head to vividseats.com for terms and conditions. Vivid Seats. Life happens live.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. I'm a speed bump. Did you hear what I said? I'm a speed bump. And if you have cut-rate car insurance, the cost to reattach your muffler could really be a bump in the road. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Darren McFarland.
And a mulligan that we all look for in golf. Lord knows our game could use it.
Willie Donick.
Outworked and outperformed a lot of other really good players.
Chase McCabe.
I want some sort of trade protection.
Darren, Donick, and Chase have you covered weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
Pitched by Goudreau. Center. Shot. Save made by Smith. The rebound to the half wall. And Draisaitl. To McDavid. Kane out of the box. Heading to the net. He's got it. Backhanded. Score! Throw the hats!
At one end of the ice. Smith, the blocker save, and then the transition. And look at on your left side of the screen, Kane take off. I mean, the recognition, the know, and the trust that this play is going to end up down at the other end of the ice. And who else but McDavid?
Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers take a 2-1 series lead on Calgary last night in the Battle of Alberta. That's been fun to watch. Connor McDavid is an absolute freak. 3 assists last night for him. You brought this up earlier, Joe. The goal that he scored in Game 2, where he's basically avoiding a hit while kicking the puck to himself and then going forehand, backhand, forehand in the space of a phone booth. He's unbelievable.
It's absurd.
I said it earlier. I didn't watch Gretzky in the prime of his career. I wasn't alive yet. I didn't watch Lemieux in the prime of his career. I know there's all sorts of great players, and you'll get different opinions. I've talked to a couple people around the NHL that agree with this. Connor McDavid is the best hockey player I've ever seen. He's unbelievable. I've never seen anybody as good as Connor McDavid.
Yeah, I'm old enough, to have actually watched Gretzky in person, and there's some similarities just in terms of at times he would just skate through everyone and make ridiculous plays. Yep. So, it actually brings him somewhat to mind, but McDavid is just he's a freak. There's no doubt. And I think I like Mario Lemieux. I mean, my gosh, he was the skating at that size, the physicality, the skill. I mean, he was incredible. Also got to mention my guy Stevie Y.
There's that.
Pretty freaking good. We always forget about him. That was always the thing back then, was like Gretzky, Lemieux, and then the third best player is Steve Yzerman, But, hey, third best player in that era is pretty good.
Yeah.
But, yeah, McDavid it's something. He does stuff that I have not seen before.
He's got 23 points in 10 games in the playoffs, 6 goals, 17 assists. I mean, he's carrying Edmonton with him right now. I don't know how far he's going to be able to take it, because I know Mike Smith played well yesterday. I still don't think Mike Smith's a great goalie. I still think they've got holes defensively. I mean, they're up 2-1, 2 games away from the Western Conference Final. Maybe he could take them a long way.
I mean, yeah, that's why you want a guy like that. Because that's always the thing, is like, yeah, but what have they done with McDavid? I'm like, well, let's see at the end whether they ever do anything with McDavid. I bet you they do.
Honestly, if they don't, it's more on management than it is him. Like, I don't know what more you want him to do.
Yeah. Vander Kane turned out to be an okay.
Turns out playing with Connor McDavid, pretty good for Vander Kane.
That can help you. Yes.
So the Oilers up 2-1 in that series. The Lightning, man, they look like they're on a mission. They're up 3-0. I had such high hopes for that series. We talked about it going into the second round in the Cup playoffs and then the conference finals in the NBA. Which series were you looking forward to the most? My answer was Tampa Bay, Florida. I thought that series was going to be great, and it looks like Tampa is just going to wipe the floor with the Panthers. They're up 3-0, and closeout game at home with Andrei Vasilevsky in net playing the way that he's playing right now. I think a sweep very much on the table for the Lightning.
Not only was I most looking forward to that series, I thought this might be it. I thought Florida's going to figure it out this time. Nope. Not even close. Incredible.
It really is, like, when we start talking about all-time great runs in the NHL, when you factor in everything, the salary cap, how hard it is now to three-peat. I mean, there's been a reason nobody's done it in a long time. Like, they are one win away from the conference final again. If they repeat again, or if they win again this year and win 3 cups in a row, like, you're talking about a pretty short list of teams that are better than they are in the history of the run of the NHL. Like, I get it. Yeah, the Islanders win 4 in a row back in the 80s.
Last time.
You had, obviously Gretzky with the Oilers in the 80s too. The Red Wings in the late 90s, early 2000s. And then you got Pittsburgh and Chicago and LA. But even Pittsburgh, I mean, they won their first one in 2009 and then didn't win their second one until 16 and 17, second and third back-to-back. So you're talking 3 years in a row with this group.
Right. Basically that's a totally different era, but the same superstar.
Right.
For which happens. But, yeah, this is the same group. And if they finish the job, then absolutely that discussion needs to be had. Now, they still haven't finished it.
They have not, but I'm allowing myself to really hype up the Tampa-Colorado Cup final. And if that happens, that may be the most exciting hockey series that I've looked forward to in, years.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That would be a lot of fun. But you know what? I think Avs-Oilers could be a lot of fun. It also could be a total just destruction. But if the Oilers get out of this and are riding that momentum with that guy, it could be fun.
Hey, your adopted team, the New York Rangers, made it a series yesterday. They went at home 3-1 against Carolina. They were the better team in Game 1, and they let that one get away from them. You can argue New York's played better than Carolina has in this series.
They have. You have those little mistakes that'll get you, but no, I mean, I think this one has potential to take it down to like a Game 7 and like a 2-2 game in overtime of Game 7. That's in my head right now. Carolina has been totally different home versus road so far in the playoffs. Actually, I played pretty well yesterday.
Yeah,
but I think that's got potential.
And then you've got, obviously, in the NBA, the conference finals. Disappointing from the Mavs. They had a chance last night to make it a series, win that game. It's 2-1. Golden State wins 109-100 last night, and that series is over. I mean, no team in the history of the NBA has come back from down 0-3, so it's not going to start now with the Mavericks, I don't think. But, I mean, can they win a game? I guess that's my question moving forward here. But Golden State is just superior to the Mavericks.
Yeah, the Mavs are bad on defense. And that really is what it comes down to. I mean, Golden State is getting whatever it wants. And, it helps to have Steph Curry. It helps to have, Clay gets going in the second half yesterday. Jordan Poole gives you that instant offense. But then you got Wiggins attacking, and he had a poster yesterday. And then Kevon Looney, man, what he's doing. I mean, they're role players. They're supporting the 3 stars. And I think they look like the odds say it. They're like minus 340 or something to win it right now.
Although the Celtics are the same at plus 340.
Yeah, I'm sorry. They're both plus 340. I think Golden State's like minus 170 or something like that. But if it's Warriors Heat, I think that would be. I mean, that's a team that can play defense. Yep. The Mavs can't play defense. Luka's incredible. Luka, those pregame beers, man, you got to cut those down a little bit. Play a little D, buddy. I mean,
defense needs some improvement.
They are just torching him.
Yeah.
And it is. It really does remind me of some of my favorite players in the 80s, such as Kelly Tripucka. Luka equals Tripucka. You don't want that, You got to stop the other team, too.
The other side, Boston and Miami. Game 4 coming up tonight on the road for the Heat. They're up 2-1. They came out the other day. I mean, they were shooting the lights out in the first quarter of that game, and then Boston made a game of it late in the fourth quarter there, but that's a huge win on the road. Tyler Hero shot like crap the other day, but Bam Adebayo was great. Jimmy Butler got hurt. Victor Oladipo was awesome coming in off the bench. Looks like Jimmy Butler's going to be fine and be ready to play tonight. So not much injury concern there. Kyle Lowry comes back in, makes a huge steal at the end of that game for the Heat, and they're up 2-1 with a chance to, if they win tonight, go up 3-1 on the road coming back home for Game 5. It's a pretty big game for Boston. Jason Tatum was not good on Saturday.
I bet you.
I would expect he responds tonight.
Yep. No, I mean, it'd be nice to see it have a good series. I'm sure Golden State wouldn't mind if those two teams
slug it out.
Yeah, batter each other. While, by the way, Golden State lost Otto Porter. Yep. It didn't look great. Gary Payton Jr. has been a key guy. That hasn't been great. But then they just bring off Moses Moody. Hey. Good player. Jonathan Kuminga, I think he's going to be a heck of a player. He's not even playing in this series. Their roster is ridiculous.
Who was it that tried to say Moses Moody in the draft that one time?
Moody, but yeah. Who the heck was that?
I got to find that again.
It was
Kendrick
Shaq.
No, it's Kendrick Perkins.
No. Oh. Yeah, it was Kendrick Perkins. Yeah, no, it wasn't Shaq. Yeah.
Oh, Kendrick Perkins. Golly.
Someone, I think on the text line, maybe it was on Twitter, I agree with this. The Inside the NBA, the best show in the history of television. Just keep it in the studio.
Yeah, we don't need you.
I need Barkley talking about what he's going to do to people's moms and stuff.
Ride in on a horse. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of cool to have the live crowd scenes, but that show is hilarious when they can hear each other and rip on each other.
Although I will say, when they were outside of the Golden State game the other day and Shaq and Chuck were just yelling at each other, it was pretty awesome.
I just love they bring
about riding Kobe Bryant and Dwayne Wade's coattails. It's amazing.
Outstanding stuff. That's why it's the best show ever. Barkley cannot retire. He's talking about retiring. Why?
No, just keep going, man.
Come on. Don't do it, man.
It'll never be the same.
No. And the thing is, Shaq, it was Kenny and Charles for a long time, which was great. But the Shaq Barkley griping at each other element is next level.
Coming up next, we'll be joined by Darren McFarland from the DDC. We'll get his thoughts on the Nashville Predators, get his thoughts on David Poile and John Hines' press conference from last week as well. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Take us wherever you may go. There's going to be a whole lot of work going on. Shoot us in anywhere, anytime.
I think he has some big play in him.
Just search The Game Nashville in your app store and download today. And keep it locked on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen. On to Hoover. This is the Commodore Report. I'm Kevin Ingram. With the regular season complete, Vanderbilt baseball now turns its focus to the SEC tournament, which begins tomorrow in Hoover, Alabama. The Commodores are the number 8 seed and will take on 9th-seeded Ole Miss on Tuesday at 4:30. The opening day of play is single elimination, with the Vandy Ole Miss winner to take on number 1 Tennessee on Wednesday. It was a tough weekend for the Vandy boys against LSU. The Tigers won the finale 21-10 Saturday to complete a 3-game sweep. Spencer Jones finished a good series for Vandy with 2 home runs and 4 RBIs Saturday. Jones racked up 7 hits over the 3 games. So Tim Corbin's team will travel to Hoover today and work out later this afternoon. And you can hear radio coverage throughout the postseason on the Vanderbilt Sports Network from Learfield. Senior Dominic Keegan and sophomore Enrique Bradfield have been chosen semifinalists for the Dick Hauser Trophy. That's from the National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association. Vanderbilt women's golf has been competing in the NCAA championships out in Scottsdale. At last check, Vandy's Selena Saddlecow was in the top 15 individually. You can find all the results at VUCommodores.com. In tennis, fifth-year senior George Harwell will compete later today in the NCAA Singles Championship in Champaign, Illinois. Harwell's going to take on Virginia's Chris Rodesh in the first round at 5 o'clock. And Vanderbilt will be represented by Anna Ross and Holly Staff in the doubles championships. That begins on Tuesday out in Champaign. They'll face a duo from Notre Dame. That is the Commodore Report on 102.5 The Game and ESPN 94.9.
Golfers, tee it up this year at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from Callaway. Featuring the new Rogue ST drivers, Callaway's most stable driver ever, with tungsten speed cartridge, jailbreak speed frame, and AI flash face. Engineered for max speed and forgiveness. 4 different models to fit every golfer's needs. Think speed? Go Rogue. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit for the new Rogue ST drivers today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
Hey everybody, it's me, Chase McCabe, and I'm so excited to be talking about my go-to drink when I'm out and about, Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball is the first and most awarded peanut butter whiskey in the world. It's an original, just like me, the suit. I take Screwball as a shot, but it's great on the rocks, in an old-fashioned, an espresso martini, and many more. So next time you're out and about, ask for Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022, Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Good morning! Morning!
Robby and Rexrode mornings from 6 to 10.
It's not bad. Might have to work on that. Not bad. It's a starting point.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell media station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun!
On your morning drive, this is Robby and Rexrode. With Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen,
it's showtime.
Welcome back in. Final hour of Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robbie Stanley alongside Joe Rexrode and Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Monday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. We're going to be joined shortly by Darren McFarland, host of the DDC. Also handles the Predators pre- and post-game duties for the Nashville Predators radio network. Joe, we talked earlier about the Preds in terms of the top 4 on defense. Some interesting comments from John Hines last week that we'll get to here in just a few minutes about Dante Fabro and Alex Carrier. And it has me wondering, could the Predators potentially be looking to add a top 4 defenseman this offseason? We're going to spend a lot of time talking about the top 6 forward group, obviously Philip Forsberg, and what happens there. But I do wonder if maybe somewhere this offseason in the back of David Poyle's mind, adding to the defense core, specifically the top 4 on defense, could be an option for the Predators.
Yeah. I get it. It could make sense. Some of these questions are answered by how they feel about the trajectory of some of these players. Did I just say trajectory of some of these players?
Yeah.
But you got a couple young guys in there who you're not totally sure about still.
Yeah. Let's go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in the great Darren McFarland from the DDC. Darren, what's going on? How we doing?
Good morning, gents. How are we?
We are great. Good. Appreciate you taking time to be with us. So, Darren, we were talking about some comments from John Hines that I caught up with him last week about Fabro and Carrier and discussing whether or not those two guys are reliable top 4 defensemen as they move forward here. Said there's a big offseason for them and that they need to get bigger and stronger. Do you think that the Predators could look at adding to the top 4 on defense this offseason?
I don't think I don't think that's crazy. I'm glad to hear him say that because he's more of an expert than me. By the way, I'm sorry for the scratchy voice. I'm sure it's allergies. I didn't pick up smoking.
You sound beautiful.
We're all dealing with allergies in the Dust Bowl that we live in. But, it's one thing for us to talk about it, right? I mean, you could see it. I mean, that's not anything earth-shattering, but you always want to hear it from, somebody in the business, somebody who's the head coach, and they do. I mean, especially Carrier. I think Carrier is a really good player, but there were times, and especially as you guys know in playoff hockey, it gets a lot more physical, and he got pushed around a lot. We've seen that before. We saw it with Ryan Ellis. Certainly there were some playoff series that were really alarming with him getting pushed around. And so I don't think there's any doubt that both of them need to get bigger or need to get stronger. There's no doubt. But do I think, to answer your question, Robbie, do I think they should? Yeah, I do, because I'm not sure it would be a bad idea, especially a veteran guy, to come in and be on the top 4, because I think there were at times they would have liked to have had that option, and they obviously didn't have that option. Throughout the course of the season, how this plays out. But, yeah, I don't think it's a bad – do I think it's at the top of the list of things to change? No, it's not at the top, but it's, it's up there. It's up there on the list. So I would be definitely a vote for a yes. In fact, I wear the sticker that said I voted yes.
There you go. I mean, is it too simplistic to just say, like, basically they just – like John Hines would like more size and strength there? Maybe, like across the board, just bigger, stronger, continue to go in that direction?
Well, I think, Joe, with the style that they play, yes. I mean, right? I mean, they're not going to change their identity. I know everybody hates that word by now, but that word is not going to go away either, because this is the brand of hockey that John Hines feels that they can maximize what they have with their roster. And obviously there's going to be tweaks, but some of the guys even that have been physical that are probably going to go away. And I would say the replacement is maybe bigger and stronger, but sometimes it's hard, right? This is the hard dynamic of bigger and stronger. Does that mean that they're faster? Does that mean they could keep up with the speed of the game? I deal with this on a much, 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 much smaller scale in 10U baseball, right? Like, we all want that big kid, right? That big kid that knocks it a country mile. But what else comes with the big kid? Like, one, he's imposing, right? He scares the crap out of a lot of 10-year-olds. Two, as I mentioned, he can knock it a country mile. But what's the other part that you have to go, but here's the give and take to all this. Usually big also means slow. And the game has changed, right? The game is about speed. And so can a bigger, stronger guy or guys keep up with the speed of the game? Because, look, let's be honest, and I get it, Colorado is elite, but Tampa Bay was too. And we saw it last year, and we saw it this year in just the 2 meetings. Like, Tampa Bay's speed and certain other teams' speed was a lot different than the Predators. So it is a fine balance, right? Like, you want to be bigger and stronger because that's their identity. They want to push back. I love the physical brand of hockey, but you also have to be able to keep up with the game, and the game requires speed. And in Colorado, they were clearly outmatched with speed.
Darren McFarland from the DDC on with us here on Robby and Rexrode. So, Darren, what did you make of the press conference with David Poile and John Hines? How do you think that they handled the questions that came their way, and did you take anything in particular away from it?
Well, I thought it was well done. I thought, if I'm being totally honest, I thought the first half I was a little surprised that, I thought it would feel a little bit more like Ryan Tannehill's 17 minutes, and I know it went 45 minutes with the first half. It took a while. It was kind of like the slow first period, right? It's like, okay, that first period wasn't our best, but there's 2 more periods to go, and away we go. And I think in the second half, I thought there were some really good questions asked by you guys. We obviously played the press conference live, and, yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, I've been talking with David Poile for 2 decades, so, I mean, he's a pretty candid guy. I'm not surprised by any of his answers. Other John Hines, again, he's a well-polished guy. Whether sometimes people think he says cookie cutter stuff, but the guy's intelligent. He knows hockey. He knows how to handle this stuff. And I really wasn't surprised, by some of the news, the backup goalie, they're going to make a change there. Does that surprise the three of us? No. I mean, I think Connor Ingram, unless he just absolutely flops in training camp and preseason, Connor Ingram will be the backup, in my opinion. The question about is ownership handcuffing you? There was a question that needed to be asked, and David Poile was quick to say he has no restraints, from ownership on his spending habits. I thought the succession plan was a good question there at the end, and he said that there was no succession plan, and in particular with this son Brian. Look, I'm not calling anybody a liar. Don't take this the wrong way, but I just don't believe, as long as David Poile has been doing it here and at his age, that there's no succession plan discussed whatsoever, or there's not. It may be in pencil, but I have a hard time believing that there is no plan. Nothing has been said. Like, what is, the plan when David Poile says, I'm done. I want to call it a career. Like, I don't know how you guys feel about that. Again,
Agreed.
I'm not calling anybody a liar. I know he's not going to say it publicly. Like, great question. Here it is. I've got it all laid out. Let me tell you guys. So this is what's going to happen. Here's page 1. I didn't expect him to do that, but I also don't believe that there's no succession plan in place. Some other things quickly, Cunnin and Tolvanen not living up to expectations. Well, duh. I mean, Cunnin went 38 games with 1 point. I mean, that's not even opinion. That's just a hard fact that they didn't live up to expectations. And, I do think John Hines is going to have, and I don't think it's going to happen moving forward, but he's got to answer the question of why you felt the need to keep Cunnin basically up there for a bulk of the season. There was really no explanation. Okay, you could say, well, there was no better option. Really? Like, there was no better option for 1 point for almost half of a season? Like, I think, honestly, anybody, a warm body, anyone from Milwaukee, heck, Afanasiev, who, yes, I want to see him succeed, and maybe he's not ready. He could have given you a point in 38 games. So, overall, I thought it was really good. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but, I thought it really picked up in the second half, and they understand that. I think they also understand the lay of the land. I think they understand that this market and this fan base doesn't feel the same that it's felt in the past. I mean, there's some anger, and I understand that. I understand the fans being mad. I understand expectations. I understand when you raise prices and you make tickets more difficult, then you know what? On one hand, that's good for business, that your tickets are in demand, and on the other hand, expectations go up. So overall, I would say it was a really good press conference.
So did you come away feeling better, worse, the same on the Preds' chances of signing Philip Forsberg?
Oh, boy, that's a great question, right? Because I don't know. If I'm being honest, Joe, I think my chances every week gets lower. I'll tell you right now, throughout the course of the season, most of the season, I felt like, look, this may go a while, but in the end, it's going to happen. I mean, I guess I'm still above 50%. Like, maybe I'm 55, 60 tops, 60-40, 55-45 that he comes back. But I've got to be honest, every week that goes by, and then even hearing David Poile say, maybe, he hits the free agent market. I know he's got to say, and there's a plan B, C, and D. He's got to say all that stuff. But I would say this is probably the lowest my odds have been this entire time. So I'd probably put it at 60-40 back.
Darren McFarland from the DDC, our guest here on Robby and Rexrode, joins us every Monday morning at 9 o'clock. Darren, great stuff as always. We'll catch you at 10 o'clock.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Darren McFarland, our guest here on Robby and Rexrode. We'll take your thoughts on the Preds, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Do you have that one person or thing that just makes you mad? Join us every Friday at noon on the DDC for You Just Made the List. Fueled by Parman Energy. Visit ParmanEnergy.com. Your one-stop petroleum solution, and TriStar Movie on the DDC on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
You just made the list.
From elegant to contemporary, Social Furniture has it all. And right now, get no interest financing on any purchase through Memorial Day. Save hundreds, even thousands on top brand name bedroom suites, living room and dining sets. Thousands of combinations in stock, ready for immediate delivery. All colors and styles are designer brand names such as Woodhouse, Sealy, Serta, Kincaid, Bernhardt, Stearns & Foster, and Bassett. Shop local, shop social. Social Furniture opens 7 days a week on the west side on Charlotte Avenue in the Richland Creek Shopping Center.
With all the new people moving here recently, we thought it'd be a good idea to explain Genesis Diamonds. If you've lived here a while, you know all this, so bear with us. Genesis Diamonds is not an ordinary jewelry store. It was started decades ago by a major diamond wholesaler based in Tel Aviv. He was the diamond supplier for hundreds of upscale jewelry stores. Then he decided to start selling direct to the public at prices that undercut traditional jewelers in a big way. This no middleman approach caught on fast and disrupted the traditional jewelry business model forever. Today, Genesis Diamonds continues that extraordinary value promise. With the highest quality diamonds, the lowest prices, the strongest guarantees, exceptional service, and a mind-blowing selection of fine diamonds and exclusive designer jewelry. So if you've just moved here from New York or California or wherever, we invite you to discover the secret the locals are well aware of. Genesis Diamonds. Just another great reason you made the move to this extraordinary place we're proud to call home.
Introducing the first Nashville location of Mayweather Boxing and Fitness in Midtown. Perfect for all fitness levels. Join a community that will help every person unleash their inner champ with fun, effective, and empowering group boxing circuit workouts. Become a founding member today. Stop by the brand new studio in Midtown at 2041 Broadway, Suite C, or call 629-206-9092 to join the family exclusive. Pre-opening rates now available. Mayweather Boxing and Fitness, the gold standard in boxing fitness.
The Ainsworth Nashville has been bringing a sophisticated twist to the classic All-American Sports Bar, restaurant, and private event experience in Midtown since 2018. Our multi-purpose venue consists of a full-scale restaurant, bar and lounge, and event space. Come for the wings, stay for our happy hour, and visit us for brunch on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We've got the good times to keep you singing all night long. The Ainsworth Nashville. Burgers, cocktails, sports.
Visit the Ainsworth at 206 21st Avenue South in Nashville or online at theainsworth.com.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
I love my Charmin Super Mega Golden Rolls, yeah. Goals last long, it's TP Goals, yeah. Charmin's got 6 rolls in one, lasts forever on my buns. Only Super Mega when I'm cleaning. Charmin's got my booty believing.
Charmin Super Mega Roll is 6 regular rolls in one. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
It's on. It's happening. Remember, you can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter.
Get out of the way. I'm watching a game.
Presented by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. We may now begin our day. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robbie Stanley alongside Joe Rexrode and Michelle Knezvik here with you on this Monday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Taking your thoughts on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Thanks to Darren McFarland for joining us in the last segment. Joe, we brought this up earlier about Dante Fabro and Alex Carrier, and there's been some interesting reaction on the text line. Some people think that the Predators absolutely should go get a top 4 defenseman. Some people think they should get 2. It's going to be hard to pull off getting 2 top 4 defensemen, 2 top 6 forwards, and re-signing Philip Forsberg, but we'll see what happens on that front. How do you view the current
plethora of cap space?
Yes. How do you view the current situation the Predators find themselves in terms of their defense core? Because we've spent so much time over the last week and a half since they've been eliminated, 2 weeks, I guess, from today, since they've been eliminated, talking about the forward group, and I understand why, because that's a big problem that they've got to get figured out. But their defense was atrocious coming down the stretch. They gave up, we've gone through the list, 8 to St. Louis, 6 to Tampa Bay, 5 to Calgary, 5 to Minnesota, 7 a couple different times to Colorado in the playoff series. We can go up and down the list of the goals they gave up. Yes, some of that is goaltending. A lot of that is defense as well. it was not a great end to the season there. And, John Hines basically said about Carrier and Fabro, it's a big offseason for them. They got to get better. And right now they're not there to the point where they can compete at a high level and help you win in the playoffs. That's got to get better as they move forward. How do you view the current situation on defense as it relates to maybe the checklist that David Poyle's going down this offseason?
Yeah, well, I think that what he does will really tell us what they feel about those guys. Although I guess, you could still then be like if they go get someone who clearly is going to be a top 4 defenseman, then I guess we have to wait until the lineup comes out to find out which one they're talking about, right? But I like Carrier, and I think Carrier has his rough moments, and there were some times in the Colorado series where Alex Carrier didn't look so hot out there. I would say he was maybe as pleasant a surprise as there was last season, and I still think he's a solid player, and I think you can make a case for him, to continue to be a top 4 defenseman. Fabro got better this year, but you talk about, it looked to me almost like he just doesn't fit with what Hines wants to do last year. Played more this year. He took a step, but what's the ceiling? Is the ceiling as high with Dante Fabro as most people thought when he was drafted, or even most people thought when he came right in 2019 and did a pretty good job on the third pairing in that playoff series against Dallas? I don't know. I feel like it's maybe not quite as high as we thought.
I think there's a chance that could be the case. And look, I'm not saying that if you're the Predators, you've got to get back to the days of Yossi, Ellis, Ekholm, and Subban out there, because it would help. It was incredible. That run that we keep talking about, the 2017, which, by the way, 5 years ago yesterday, that they won the Western Conference. So there's that. But that run that we keep talking about, they were a big part of that in terms of how they got there. The Ekholm-Subban was an incredible shutdown pairing. Ellis and Yossi were really good that postseason, and that's how they built our team. You can build a team that way, and you can win that way. It's very difficult to get 4 guys at that level that you're not paying a ton of money to. And I think Yossi is obviously still at that level. Ekholm, I think it's fair to say he took a step back this year. I still think he was good, but offensively, probably until later in the season he started to come on a little bit. Offensively, probably not where you expected him to be this year. Defensively, though, he and Carrier were the ones that got the shutdown minutes. Like when they were matching up against other teams' top lines, a lot of times it was Ekholm and Carrier. Honestly, for the most part, I thought Carrier did a good job. Not great in the playoffs. I think both Carrier and Fabro have been good enough to show you that they have flashes of top 4 defensemen in them. My question is, are they good enough top 4 defensemen that you can win with in the playoffs? And right now the answer is no. Like I don't think they're good enough right now that you could win in the playoffs on a consistent basis with those guys in your top 4. Now, you get more players on your top 6 and you're more dangerous 5-on-5 offensively, then maybe that changes a little bit. But I still think they could use another body there.
Yeah.
And maybe a guy like Fabro is better served playing in a little bit more of a limited role. And if somebody gets hurt, then you have somebody that can then step in to your top 4.
Yeah, I think it's got to be on the table. I honestly have been thinking more along the lines of what forwards they could go get.
Sure.
But which again, all these all this stuff gets dictated by what happens with Forsberg, which is still the biggest question, and that's where it's hard to even project what they might do, because if they do lose him, then you've obviously really got to focus on the forward group, and I just don't know that other than Johnny Gaudreau, I don't even know that does it. Although, like you said, he's a better player, but you're totally different if you lose Forsberg. But I think clearly they're not what they used to be with their defense core. Moving on from Ellis was certainly, obviously, the right thing. And Fabro is, that's to me, it's Hines talks about, we played the Hines audio earlier about, what those guys need to do and stuff like that. But, they're not going to they're not going to – I mean, Fabro's never going to be a big, hulking, physical defenseman, you know? It's just not what he's going to be. So is that okay? Is that okay with John Hines?
Well,
does he want to get bigger and stronger?
And I think the question you bring up is a good one too. Like, is that what you need to do? Like, do you need to just bulk up everywhere? Now, you look at their defense core right now. You know, they've got Borowiecki, who's a third-pair guy. Lauzon's a bigger guy. Ekholm's a big guy. But Ekholm's the one that's really playing the most minutes out of that. Like, when you talk about bulking up a defense core,
they've had other big guys.
They've had other big guys. Like, you got to be able to skate.
Right.
And, you know, Ekholm's kind of the perfect combination of he's big, he doesn't get pushed around, and he skates really, really well. Those guys just don't grow on trees. I understand that. But, like, if you're Colorado, like Colorado's got Sam Girard, or did until he get knocked out of the playoffs the other night, and Cale Makar. Neither one of those guys are big. They skate really, really well. That's why they're really good. Roman Yossi's not big. Roman Yossi's not really physically – he doesn't really push people around out there. He just is really good positionally, and he skates incredibly well. That's how those guys are effective. So I understand what John Hines is saying about you got to get bigger and bulk up and all that stuff. And I think there's a place for that. And certainly I think if you found a bigger guy in your top four that can move, I'm all for it. But it doesn't necessarily have to be built that way to win.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have that balance. You got to have skill and skating. I mean, is Lauzon at any point potentially a top four defenseman?
I don't see it.
You don't see it.
I'm not saying that. I mean, I can't be wrong. I don't see it. Like, I know Willie has talked about, well, he's a third pair guy that could play situationally in the top four. I mean, I guess technically he could play in the top four situationally. I don't think he'd be very good in that role. So I don't see him as a top four guy.
Who out there is realistic? Like, who out there would actually be an upgrade, who is attainable for, you know, not a huge price?
Well, you've got Letang that's scheduled to be a free agent. He's 35. I'll believe that he's not coming back to Pittsburgh when I see it. And honestly, at 35 years old, I don't know if I'm spending a whole lot of money on Chris Letang. Klingberg is kind of the big free agent fish out there defenseman-wise, but I don't think the Predators need to go out and spend that type of money on a top four guy. You know, Nick Leddy's out there. Connor Murphy's out there. Hey, PK Subban's out there.
There you go. Run it back. Yeah.
I do wonder where he's going to end up because Willie.
TV studio?
Well, I think that may be the case.
He's good. I like him. I like him in the studio.
He's very good. But, I mean, the point is there's not a ton of great options out there. So this could be one of those things where you've got to maybe get creative and trade for a top four defenseman. Now, what does that look like? I don't know. Maybe they're comfortable just saying, you know what? We got enough stuff to worry about with our forwards. We're just going to trust that Carrier and Fabro come back in, and with another year of seasoning, Carrier, first 82-game NHL season out of the way, he takes a step next year, continues to get better. Fabro playing with Yossi again next year, continues to get better. You know, that's probably the most likely scenario of what happens in terms of that being the way they handle it. I do wonder if they take a look, though. I mean, do you want to get – that's the other part of this. We talk about the direction of getting younger. A lot of these defensemen that are on the market are 30, 31, 32. Do you want to go out and get one of those guys and get older that way while helping your top four at the same time? I don't know. I don't know if that's something that they would entertain or not.
I think there's a pretty good chance the Preds become an older team next year.
Yeah.
A little bit, right? I mean,
if you're going to get a top six forward, you have to.
Right. So, they've gotten younger, which they badly needed to do. They've been able to watch a lot of these guys, and that's the thing. I think that we did at that press conference get a lot of frank conversation from both Hines and Poyle about certain players, but there's still a limit to what they're going to, they may be totally out on one of these guys and resolve to move on. And if that's the case, they're not going to come out and say that. But, I mean, that's a question. Like, how much of a look do you feel like you've gotten? I feel like Fabro.
It's 174 games of regular season sample size.
And, of course, there's what's that? There's a number that eludes me. It's like you shouldn't judge a defenseman in this league until
it depends on who you ask. Some
games.
people say 100, some people say 200.
Yeah.
So
he's in that.
If you're going 200, he hadn't got there yet.
There you go. So, but again, I could be wrong too. I mean, if let's say they move Fabro, you tell me in a couple of years, all of a sudden he's this dynamic defenseman, somebody, I wouldn't be shocked out of my mind. But we've seen quite a bit of them. We've seen and Tolvanen, and I know we're talking defenseman, but Tolvanen, I don't know. To your point earlier, what are you going to get for him right now? In terms of value, your probably best value is hoping it works out. But
right now, like I've heard people throw out the trade Tolvanen thing. Right now, to me, like the most likely scenario of Tolvanen being traded is like a throw-in piece with a different trade. That's to me what a Tolvanen trade piece looks like right now. Like I'm sure that there would be interest around the league because somebody is always going to look at the potential and say, yeah, I'd like to take on that, but they're not giving you a ton back.
Yeah.
So I think he's back next year would be my guess.
And then someone asked about Ferentz on the text line. At some point, that could be something.
I don't know that he's ready.
How soon?
Yeah. I think it's when he signed, so he signed out of college and got a look up here. I thought, okay, well maybe one day he can be a top 4 guy. Maybe still he could be, but I think he may be a ways off from that at the moment. We'll continue to take your thoughts on the Preds. 615-737-1025. 615-737-1025. Take your thoughts on the Titans as well. Any way you want to go up next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Hey, Preds fans.
Running across to make the save is Sarah.
You can now hear Nashville's best sports talk.
The backhander, he scores!
And every Predators game on 106.3 FM.
Oh, that was a thing of beauty.
From downtown Nashville to Rutherford and Williamson counties.
Duchesne with the overtime winner.
Catch all the action on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Races, concerts, and one big party. The Big Machine Music City Grand Prix returns to Nashville August 5th through 7th. For 3 days, the streets of downtown Nashville will come alive with the sounds of race cars, music, and cheering fans. 3-day tickets are on sale starting as low as $129. The Big Machine Music City Grand Prix is a weekend full of entertainment that you don't want to miss, and tickets are going fast. Visit MusicCityGP.com to buy yours today.
Trying to find a new home right now is next to impossible. Very little inventory, prices are crazy high, rates are moving up. Here's a better idea. Let my friends at Loan Pronto refinance your current home, turn all that equity you have into cash, and totally transform your house. A new kitchen, new bathroom, a pool. Think about it. Your home value is up. Instead of wasting all that on an overpriced new house, convert that equity into cash for a home makeover. One local couple did it and got $200,000 out. They added new hardwoods, an outdoor living space, a swimming pool with spa and all new cabinets and appliances, plus a home office. Now they have their dream home, and they never had to move. Call Loan Pronto. Ask about their home improvement refi. Give your home a total makeover and do it now. You can even skip your next house payment in the process. Call now, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval.
Summer heat is on the way. Is your air conditioner ready? Costs are rising everywhere. Groceries, gas, utilities, you name it. Is your AC old, inefficient, and costing more than it should? Interest rates are rising, but not at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Qualified buyers have up to 72 months no interest for a new York air conditioner and 6 months no interest for repairs. At Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, all new systems come with a 10-year parts and labor warranty. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, a York certified comfort expert company. Schedule now at springhillac.com.
Bring your hive together with Spirited Hive. It's Hive O'Clock. What is Hive O'Clock? It's connecting or celebrating with your hive. A time to be present and create shared memories. At Spirited Hive, we become aficionados discerning what goes best with bourbon, tequila, and vodka in a canned cocktail. Bourbon whiskey with rosemary infused with honey and lemon. Tequila ginger infused with honey and lime. Or vodka cranberry infused with honey and lime. Available to purchase on reservebar.com or taproom for delivery within the hour. Join us at Spirited Hive on Instagram to see what the buzz is all about.
O'Reilly.
Don't miss out on Clean Car Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. If your car is ready for a spring cleaning, stop by for great deals on everything you need to keep it looking like new, including Mother's California Gold Wash and Wax, just $5.99 for a 64-ounce bottle. That's a $5 savings. Visit the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts today or shop O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN.
Welcome into the DDC.
Stomach Company is delivered.
There's a new way to hear 102.5 The Game. Nashville's best sports talk on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24. You now have two sports programming.
Get the extra point, no problem.
And the Nashville Predators.
Scores!
Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
Hey, Nashville, this is Sean Henry. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game. Streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game Studio here with you on this Monday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. John, look at this Titans offense. You got Robert Woods coming off an ACL injury. Traylon Burks, your first-round draft pick. Other than that, not a whole lot there at wide receiver. Our guy, Nick Westbrook-Akina, friend of the show, we know what he's going to be. Solid player. I think in an ideal scenario, probably your number 4 would be my guess. But right now, probably number 3 on this team. Do you think the Titans should go out there and add another veteran wide receiver with guys like Will Fuller on the open market? Cole Beasley is on the open market. There's a couple different ways you could go with it. Do you think the Titans should be entertaining the idea of trying to add another veteran wide receiver?
I think they should be entertaining the heck out of it. Now, can you do it? Is there someone who really makes sense? I'm a little bit intrigued by Will Fuller. Will Fuller he would be someone who does something, provided he can still do it, that the Titans don't have, which is someone who can just take the top off the defense. One of my favorite recent cliches in football.
Randy Moss.
Is that what he says a lot?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Everybody says it now. No, but the Titans don't have anybody who it has just a straight ahead, burner kind of. I mean, I thought in the draft going in, and of course this is with AJ Brown, I thought that they should think in those terms, as they're looking at receivers. I mean, going into the draft, remember we were talking about Jameson Williams. Yep, take him. Yeah, well, didn't have a chance to. But it's hard to find guys with elite speed, and I think Will Fuller, again, if he still has it, even if he plays 9-10 games, you might have a couple more wins, if you have a guy with that kind of skill set. So I'm not big on Cole Beasley. You drafted Kyle Phillips. I think you go with the young rookie who looks like he can play, and we'll see. But I'd go with that, especially based on just what he did in rookie camp. I think he's got potential. Odell Beckham,
maybe so.
Hey, guy was pretty good. Michelle sent us this thing on the Bitcoin. I remember that now. Like he's netted like $35K from his contract because he has to be paid in Bitcoin.
Nailed it.
My goodness. John Robinson baseball cards. I had a great collection. Odell.
Got a whole lot of them here, man. You asked earlier if Will Fuller had ever played in an entire season. His rookie year, he played in 14 games.
Yep.
Since then, it's been 10, 7, 11, 11, and 2 last year with the Dolphins. 2 games.
Not a good trend.
Now, he was suspended, I believe, to start last year for PEDs or whatever. But 2 games last year for the Dolphins. He had 4 catches for 26 yards.
And when you get hurt that much, PEDs, that kind of adds up.
You should be able to get him relatively cheap, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's an average of. I'm doing the math in my head. That's like an average of like 5 a year. Wow, maybe a little bit better than that. 6, 7 a year.
Around 7 or 8.
So, I don't know. I mean, there's slim pickings out there, But I mean, a lot of this is. It's like with the Preds. We're talking about Fabro. Like we got to see a full season of Fabro, Tolvanen, and like it's easier to kind of gauge where things may be going with that. How has Des Fitzpatrick been doing? Like how's he working? Is it clicking for him? Is it coming together for him? I mean, he got cut, re-signed to the practice squad, did a little bit on the field last year, also made some mistakes on the field last year. What's Racing McMath? Does he have a chance of becoming more than a special teams guy with really good speed? He's got the body to be
the next Julio Jones.
Well, yeah, I mean, like if they feel good about one of those guys, even then I could see them being like, roll with this. But based on them being unknown, Robert Woods coming off an ACL, he's going to be a good player this year. Traylon Burks, no idea. Westbrook-Akina's solid. That adds up to you need to add something.
Yeah, I think so too. And I mean, the question is, there's not a lot out there. We talked about them adding receiver depth when they had A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown, Robert Woods, and I said even then, go draft Traylon Burks. You need more receiver depth. And now you don't have A.J. Brown. So it's not difficult for me to see a scenario this year where their receiving corps is not very good. Like everybody's expecting Traylon Burks to come in and to be able to figure it out immediately, and maybe he will. I'm not saying that he can't do that, but what happens if he doesn't? And you've got Robert Woods coming off an ACL, Traylon Burks not being able to quite figure it out yet, and Nick Westbrook-Akina is essentially your number 2 at that point. It's probably not a very good spot the Titans want to be in.
No, on top of an offensive line that has serious questions, quarterback who knows what he'll be, but he is a product, part of his environment, and last year it didn't help him. And then the regressing running back, that was a joke.
Yes, the running back in free fall.
It's all on Derek.
Some people.
Yeah, it's all on Derek. Well, look,
this could be the year for the go route, man. The wheel route to Derrick Henry. I've been waiting on it for 2 years.
They have to try.
This could be it.
They have to try one freaking time, right?
I don't even care if it's in the preseason at this point. Just send him on a wheel route, see what happens. You tell me he can't out-jump a defensive back? Yeah, he can. He'll go get the ball.
I mean, they may need to do that. They need to throw him a little bit. I mean, what about as a pulling guard? He'd be devastating.
He would be.
The
Niners sent Trent Williams in motion last year, lined him up as a tight end, and just plow through people. That's what you do with Derrick Henry.
There you go.
When you're not giving him the ball.
Yeah. I mean, the only area where I'm sure that they're going to be better is at tight end. Which is good. I mean, they needed to get better there, and I think they have. And Austin Hooper, if he's Cleveland Austin Hooper, it's still better. If he's Atlanta Austin Hooper, then okay, that could be promising. You take some of the pressure off the receiving core there, but I think you still need more. Or again, you need question mark, all to be answered in your favor.
Chris on the text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, says, whatever happened to Cam Batson? He's out there. He's available.
Yeah. Yeah.
That could be something that they do.
It's possible.
But you have Kyle Phillips and you have Mason Kinsey. Like, do you want Cam Batson lining up a ton on the outside? I don't know.
Nah, I mean, with Batson's injuries and everything, I guess I'd kind of be surprised if they go back to him. But I was convinced they weren't going back to Michael Pruitt, so it's possible. But I don't think that Cam Batson is this huge answer for all this. He's a heck of a story. He's been probably as inspiring a player as they've had in the locker room. He's a good player, but I think you need a little bit more size and someone who can play on the outside, and have a little bit more speed.
We'll continue to take your thoughts on the Titans, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Hey, it's Jared from my friends at Hiller. There's no better time to upgrade your essential home systems than this month at Hiller. Until the end of May, Hiller is offering 0 interest for 60 months on select new HVAC systems, 0 interest for 12 months on new tankless water heaters, and 0 interest for 12 months on new whole home generators. If you know you need a new system for your home, do it this month. These financing offers are available for a limited time only. You stay comfortable and cool all summer and handle the payments later. Visit happyhiller.com for all the details. As always, Happy will be here. The service is free. That's Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Erectile dysfunction ruins sex, but it's more than that. It harms otherwise good relationships. It destroys marriages. It can cause depression and anxiety, and it can be extremely hard on a man's self-esteem. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic, and if you're suffering with ED, if it's affecting you, I want you to know that if you're like most men, we can treat it and get you back to the man you used to be. At the Tennessee Men's Clinic, we're ED experts. Our protocols have success rates as high as 90%. We've successfully treated thousands of men in the Music City, and we have a variety of treatment options and treatment combinations that could have you performing like you haven't in years. You could even last up to an hour and experience great sex again that is satisfying for both you and your partner. In treating your health, expertise matters, so make an appointment today. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. Call 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra. Results vary.
Your Nashville's best deal of the week is Nashville B-Cycle, Music City's station-based bike share system since 2013. With over 177 pedal assist electric bikes available from over 20 stations, from Sylvan Park to East Nashville and everywhere in between. Nashville B-Cycle is a fun and sustainable way to get around. And now get half off a monthly pass where you can enjoy unlimited 60-minute rides for 30 days. Get yours at theGameNashville.com/deals.
Welcome to Allstate, where you can save just by being you. DriveWise in the Allstate mobile app gives you personalized driving feedback. And by adding it to your policy, you can save for driving safe just by being yourself. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Not available in every state. Savings based on DriveWise and other safe driving discounts. Savings vary. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
A show that doesn't pull any punches.
And they win a playoff game and they get to the divisional round and he doesn't give up a sack the rest of the year. I don't give two poops. I'm done.
And has an opinion on everything.
That ref crew that was just terrible. Threw flags on almost every possession.
Jared Stillman hosts Stillman and Company.
Tough guy. He's a really tough guy.
Weekday afternoons from 2 to 6. Delivered by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in. Final segment of the day here on Robby and Rexrode, ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Monday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Taking your thoughts on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Discussing the Titans, taking your thoughts throughout the remainder of the show here. The Titans on the field this week, so Rexrode will get to see some football in person coming up this week. He's looking forward to it.
Exciting stuff.
I'm interested to see, you bring up the tight end position. I'm interested to see how big of a factor Hooper in particular can be this year. Okonkwo, we'll see how he's able to come along and grow and see how quickly he can be ready. But Hooper he's an intriguing guy because I thought in Atlanta when he left and went to Cleveland, I thought he was on his way to becoming – I'm not saying like Travis Kelce or George Kittle or anyone like that, but a top-level tight end in this league, kind of that next tier below those guys. I thought he was on the way to being that, and it just didn't really work out in Cleveland. For whatever reason, some of it was injury, some of it may have been the quarterback that was in Cleveland, some of it was the offense, but the numbers were not as good with the Cleveland Browns. I'm interested to see what he looks like here with the Titans, and how big of a factor he can be over the middle. We talked about it. I mean, you basically, until the very end of last year where Ferkster came on a little bit, you didn't get much from the tight ends. Michael Pruitt was a nice player. He had some big catches in the red zone last year, but really not a lot that you got from the tight end position. I'm interested to see how big of a factor Hooper can be this year in this offense.
Yeah, it's got to be big. And a lot of different factors that hurt Tannehill last year. Tannehill, number one on the list, by the way. Still comes down to your quarterback, most important player, makes the decisions, pulls the trigger, so start with him. But protection certainly fell off. I think the OC change was going from Arthur Smith to Todd Downing was a step down, and I think that the lack of tight end was a big deal. I really do. Jonnu Smith, and honestly, even like pre-21 Anthony Ferkser.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. There was a history of Tannehill and Ferkser having a pretty successful chemistry. It just very rarely materialized. I think probably in part because of Ferkser being a little bit banged up. But regardless, no consistent tight end presence in the passing game, I think, hurt Tannehill, and they've tried to address that. They may be stepping backward with the offensive line. I don't think there's any doubt they're stepping backward with the receiving core. Step forward at tight end, I think, is pretty good bet, and it needs to be a big step forward.
It needs to be a big step forward, and it's easy to see where this offense, there's a ton of question marks on this offense this year, and we've talked about Derrick Henry throughout the show today, but this is starting to feel like a similar conversation, maybe not quite as extreme, because, you're talking about a defense 2 years ago that was about as bad as it gets in terms of pass rush. So they signed Bud Dupree last year, and we were wondering, okay, well, that could help, but how much are they going to be able to affect the quarterback, and can they ever get off the field on third down? This offense wasn't great last year. It wasn't, like, historically bad either. So it's not the same scenario, but it's easy to look at some of the departures with Roger Saffold and obviously with A.J. Brown and think to yourself, it's going to take a lot of things going right for this offense to be good this year. And there is a scenario where it could be pretty tough to watch out there offensively.
Yeah, it wasn't historically bad. It was supposed to be historically good.
Yeah.
So certainly, if you want to look at the bright side of the offense, it has a chance to actually meet expectations because they've gone way down. But it is also, like, think of the path of the Titans' offense versus defense. Pretty good, like, defense in 17 and 18. The offense was the issue. Mariota, is he the guy? They need to do more stuff for Mariota's skill set, more RPOs, whatever. And then, you flip it, and you have all of a sudden you find magic on offense with Tannehill and Henry and everything, and then you completely fall off defensively in 2020 with Dean Pease moving on, can't rush the passer, the worst third down defense ever. It's just – and then now you quickly do a reversal on that, and on paper, I think this defense could have a chance to be the best in the NFL. I'm not saying it's the best in the NFL, but I'm saying it's like in the 5 or 6 teams that should be discussed.
Well, you got Buffalo as the best defense in the NFL.
I do.
Buffalo's got the 85 Bears defense out there and like the greatest show on turf combo.
And the 85 Dolphins offense. Yeah. That's what Buffalo is. Yeah. I know. I don't know why. I just think they're going to win it all this year. But
it's not a crazy pick.
Crazier things have been picked. But yeah, I think the Titans could be great. I just think you're talking about a team that is going to have to win 20-17 and 24-20. Not as fun, but winning's fun if you win.
Yeah,
and it'll be okay. It'll be fun to watch his defense. Fun to watch his pass rush.
Joe, very quickly,
we'll just introduce them before every game. Them and Derrick Henry. Can you do it like where you introduce the defense and also on offense, Derrick Henry?
Derrick Henry.
No one else on offense will appear today.
Thank you. Except starting and hopefully finishing this game, number 77, Taylor Lewan. He's back in there. Joe, very quick. We talked about the state of the Vandy baseball program heading into postseason play a little bit earlier. Tim Corbin, it's a rough weekend for the Doors. He did not address the media after the sweep was over, 21-10, the final score against LSU. He is talking this morning, and I'll just pull a quote the Gentry Estes has put out there from Tim Corbin. Quote, "This bleep means a lot to me. I'm an emotional guy. The day that I don't give a bleep is the day that I won't be in this chair." This is coming from Tim Corbin this morning. So we talked about it.
What the heck, man? They run this Zoom when we're doing our show? Come on.
There's not a soul that I have ever encountered that hates losing more than Tim Corbin hates losing. And I think this kind of goes with that. I didn't love that he didn't address the media, I'll be honest. I don't really like it when that happens. But with Tim Corbin, I kind of understand it from being around him.
Wow.
Guy hates losing.
By the way,
so
Gentry
much.
spelled out the naughty words.
He
Gentry. Did. Tisk. Wow, that's a good quote. Good quote from Corbin. He's making up for not talking the other day. No, I mean, I don't know that I've seen someone so affected to the point where it's just like, and I mean, I've talked with Maggie Corbin about this. Sometimes it's like, just stay in the office, man. You know,
you just stay right there.
I mean, it's I like lots of like Vrabel, tough loss, and he's liable to be a little more like sarcastic type thing. You know, Corbin is just wants to strangle you after he lost a game. I mean, I shouldn't joke about that, but like he is so mad.
He's really mad.
It's incredible. I mean, it's kind of fun. I'm sure not fun for him, but yeah. I mean, in general, I'm not a fan of like the coach not talking to the media after the game. The media comes cover you, and the player talks instead. But with Corbin, I'd say every once in a while a mulligan's probably appropriate.
Yes.
And that's just, I mean, you're talking about a team that was in position to host, coming off a huge series win at Arkansas.
Up 8-4 in the 7th inning.
Right, to salvage one game, lose 21-10, give up 42 runs, get swept by LSU, definitely not hosting now. I mean, it's a brutal weekend for them, and I don't know where it's going from here. But it might be Vanderbilt, Tennessee on Wednesday, I believe.
Yeah.
So that'd be fun.
Vanderbilt needs that game. Like you said earlier, Tennessee in this tournament, I mean, they very well could go on to win it. They probably will. But it means not much to the Vols.
It's just another achievement you can add to the list before you get to the main course. I don't know that it means that much. Honestly, I don't know that this tournament means that much for Vanderbilt.
I don't think
they're traveling first weekend for sure. So
we'll have more on that. We'll get into some college baseball tomorrow. Postseason play beginning this week. This is going to do it for us today here on Robby and Rexrode. The DDC coming up next. You're listening to ESPN 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Your speaker at home is so smart,